family.
Barry, Kim, and 9 children.
Ethan,
Hosanna,
Micah,
Mariah,
Lydia,
Isaac,
Amber, Cassia,
and Mercy.
Playing and singing together as a family brings us so much joy.
With beautiful 4-part family harmony.
a jazz ragtime-style piano player,
A fiddle player that's been called better than Charlie Daniels.
And of course, adorable little ones who will melt your heart and steal the show. You're in for a treat.
Meet our family and check out our concert schedule at theplathfamily.com.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Jen, this is James. We are married now and this is the 4th time we have discussed the Plath family. And a lot has happened in both their family and ours since the last episode. The Plath family are a quiverful family from Georgia. We've covered them quite a few times. They were featured in this like really indie like YouTube documentary about them probably more than 10 years ago. Yeah. And it seems like Kim's always been trying to get herself famous for a very long time. She's always tried to have a TV show and have her little moment, right? So this was just perfect because if you all don't remember, it seemed like from the first season that Kim thought they were going to come have a Duggars 2.0, right? Except they're musical. And then the producer saw, oh, there is a different dynamic going on here at play, so we're going to exploit that.
Families need to have fun together. These days, everyone's so busy with all the different activities and working and going different directions. Nobody has time to get together and do anything fun together as a family. And I just think that's sad. And I think it's really important for families to try to get together, figure out what your goals are, what your common purpose is as a family, do something productive together, but also have fun together.
It's just so fun to make music together. My favorite thing to do together as a family is music.
I'm not saying everyone should do music, everyone should start a band, our family's different than your family, but find what it is that your family can do together.
In that way, they're literally the perfect mix. Well, I would say maybe Sister Wives does this perfectly, but nobody can be Sister Wives, but they have the perfect mix of TLC fodder. Like they literally have the big religious family and the emotional relationship problems. Yeah. And mommy issues and like all this stuff. Every other TLC show this season is no different. There's a lot of relational aggression that we're going to see.
This show kind of led off with the family starting to deteriorate. And
episode 1.
Now by the time we've reached season 4, you're going to see this this family, bless their hearts, has fractured in a lot of different directions, and it seems like there's a lot of camps and shifting allegiances, and it's unpleasant.
They've gone through a lot of changes, not just like aesthetically, because as you'll see in this season, the girls are wearing pants. The parents are going through a divorce, and this is a supposedly fundamentalist family. Kim is drinking, which might be its own separate issue, and a lot of the kids that were spurned and abused by Kim are now saying, oh, she's changed. You know, she has a drink with dinner and she lets me wear pants. So everything's okay. We can forgive, years and years of neglect, right? And exploitation. And it really sucks because, we're able to be objective until we met Olivia.
Yeah. But we were more objective a few months ago than we are now.
Yeah, but it's just wild to see because you never ever see this. And it's truly because it's the Kim's personality is so strong that she's able to pull this off, I guess, because she's truly in her like hot girl summer. Yeah. Like she's fucking this family, like from season 1, they were typical fundamentalist, and then they started to change seemingly for like TV fame.
A variety of reasons.
Lots of reasons. But it's just really interesting because we're going to hit on the same themes that we always do because fundamentally nothing has changed. Like there's still parentification, there's still emotional incest, there's still manipulation and self-centeredness and lots of immature adults not able to deal with their problems. And that's not technically their fault because they weren't modeled correct conflict or anything in their family. You'd have to be around to model that to your children. So that's why they look so different. That's why they don't look like the Duggars on on the show. So that's just something to say. I'm not going to give you a full biography like I have in the past because shit, I don't have time. But also, you should know by now. If you're watching this out of order, please don't. You will be spoiled immensely.
And I will say, I think that is the overall theme, the overarching theme for this season, in my opinion, was kind of the. I mean, we all know that Plathville has kind of become like the deconstructors show, and I think that this season was by far, in my opinion, at least the most unpleasant to watch, and I think that's in part, and I'm sure a lot of our deconstructors will know, it's like, you know, this is people doubting their own deconstruction and doubting their own escape from the faith,
being
and
pulled back,
receding back, and it's not fun to watch, in my opinion. Now, I know I'm the dirty atheist on the outside, but I was very happy for these people, and
our goal is not to
for
turn people into atheists. Our goal is for these people to be happy and have healthy boundaries with these abusive family members. But that's apparently not allowed on this show.
Well, and I think that like part of that happiness is the like learning what the parents' tricks are and moving past them, and bless their hearts, it's really easy to forget how young some of the people on this show are.
I was just reminded that Olivia is only 24.
Yes,
and she is the most
among the youth
mature fucking person I've ever met. And let me tell you, she's smarter than me. Let me tell you, we talked to her for hours.
She's not I mean, she is very much ahead of the curve too. At 24, she does not think like a 24-year-old. She thinks many years wiser than her
She's
age
had
would
to
make you believe.
Be the biggest person in the room for probably 10 years now, I would say, in her own family and now in her in-laws.
Yeah.
And that you can really see, but that takes a toll on a person.
But I'm thinking particularly, and I don't want to spoil it too much because we'll probably talk about it, but you're going to see from Micah and Mariah in particular, and it's like I have to constantly remind myself when I was watching this, like, they're 19 and 22. They're 19 and 22. These are the mistakes you made, James, when you had difficult relationships when you were younger and were still learning what you were doing. It's just you weren't being filmed for a nationally syndicated TV show. Yeah. So it's tough to watch. This was, I don't know how you feel, Jen. To me, this was by far the least enjoyable season of the show.
Yeah. Because, like, the first season, like, there was lots of conflict.
But it was very direct.
But it was, like, well, it was also, like, we were very much, like, Ethan was living his, like, most, oh, now I get to have a Coke. Now I get to do this. And it was, like, really fun. And it was, like, a novelty. Now, by the fourth season, he's, like just being very disrespectful to Olivia in ways that we were just kind of shocked.
Yes. And it's like I said, it's a story of regression. Those first couple of seasons,
which is what happens, and
success.
I think it's very important
That
because most people hear about the deconstruction and then your life's happily ever after, right?
Yeah.
No, like there's gonna and there's these fucked up family dynamics that they have.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you have a toxic family structure like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to keep coming back because at the end of the day, it's a cruel, cruel joke because the kids are going to keep coming back and they're going to keep by Kim, and then she's going to hurt them again.
Yeah.
But that's their parents, and how else are they supposed to get their parental affection? And family is everything, loyalty is everything. They act like they're the mob wives over there in Plathville, and it's like, bro.
Not to mention that they're
more like breaking Amish.
Not to mention that the parents have shown that they're more than willing to put the little kids into play.
Absolutely. And now
like,
they're doing interviews with the 13-year-old daughter.
It's weird. It feels like they're setting up the next generation of the show, and it's like, this shit ain't Degrassi. We don't need to. They ain't no lessons that need to be continued from this. Let this peacefully fade away. I personally am of the opinion that it's probably about time to be done with Plathville. But
so speaking of Olivia, if you're watching, ask them at TLC for a travel show, because we were talking about this. Even if you just do like a travel show that's like with your photography, you'd be great at it. You'd be a good host. You'd talk to all the people. I could see you, out there making lots of friends and like doing all the fun experiences.
I don't know. How do y'all feel out there? How do the Jennonites feel?
Yeah.
Tell us down below.
Yeah.
Would you all watch an Olivia Plath fronted travel show? Because I know that would be cancel my schedule. I'm checking this out.
And you could you could make it a little more serious if you want, like interview people like like different cultures.
Yeah.
Or it could be just fun. It could just be like.
Both are valid.
Hot bikini beaches. I don't know. But
do you want a half-hour show or do you want an hour show? Because I think that's what you're asking. Hot bikini beaches only gets half an hour.
Oh, Hot
In-depth
Bikini Beach?
investigation gets an hour.
Okay, well, anyway, before we begin, yes, we keep talking about Olivia. Let's talk about the Plath in the room. So, if you recall from several episodes of this series, we asked Olivia to be our wedding photographer. Olivia's a photographer. Olivia hit me up, needs wedding photos, and she said yes.
She did.
And we, as of recording this episode right now, we don't have the pictures back, but when I get them, I'll share them with you, of course. It was fucking crazy.
It was
meeting her in
amazing.
real life, dude. So,
Everybody we knew who met her was blown away.
they're like, oh.
She very effortlessly conveys celebrity. Bless her heart. I don't think she means to, but she's got gravitas.
She's well spoken. Like I said, she's very
wise
intelligent,
beyond her
compassionate,
incredible
empathetic.
person.
She's also an amazing photographer,
Yeah.
and I know she got some good shots out of it. She was getting us emotional.
I mean,
Emotion.
She was the best investment we made. I mean, her job description said photographer, but she did everything.
She was carrying around my little Polaroid camera at the, she was doing everything. And then she also has her bartending license, and she was talking about doing that for people, like,
hey, that bag needs to be picked up. Next thing you know, she's added it to the 9 photography bags she's already got on.
She even had to 1-2 buckle my shoe because I couldn't reach when I had my big dress on.
This was my favorite picture from like the whole wedding because this was like before I thought I didn't know. I was like, this is just for me, but I was like, this is too cute. Her tie and Jen's shoe. I couldn't help.
Yeah. Anyway, great photographer, great person. Highly recommend her.
Yes.
We got married at
soon.
the courthouse with just her and our families and my best friend from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so the real like special thing that we did was have her, and we read our real vows to each other during the photography session. So to me, we actually got married at that moment.
Yes, that was when I felt it.
Yeah, it felt real when we were doing that. So she's a very special person, and that will come across this season because she's the only fucking sane one in the entire bunch. So.
Yeah.
And although it's nice, it's still like, it's just unnecessary. One person should not have to carry the emotional weight of a different family.
No, that's not her job, and it won't be their job no matter how much I want it to be.
Before we begin, one last little fun fact. Everybody knows it. I know it. There is another Plath sibling that they don't show, and I don't know if it's just because she doesn't live there, but her name is Hosanna.
Yep.
And she is the oldest child, and she's married to another fundie, and there's pictures of like J-Rod at her baby shower, and it's like a whole thing. So I find that interesting that she isn't on the show. I am desperate to know what the relationship with Kim is like, because I can't imagine that Kim wouldn't be on the show being like, well, I'm a grandma now, so blah, 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 blah. You know?
Yeah, and it's the way that it's edited, the way that Hosanna is completely like, the only other person I can think of who was like ghosted this hard off a show they should have been on was the older Osborne sister. Like, they really go out of their way to like make you forget that there is a child older than Ethan. And
Well, the reason why we bring it up is because there's several moments where that's like clearly staged for the show, because they're like, the whole family's here, and it's like, well, no, they're not. And I know that maybe she was there at the funeral or whatever, and like they edited her out, like when Jana went on that road trip with Anna and Josh, like. But I just feel like it's just too much. So I'm just very curious about the relationship between that.
I do like the mental image in my head of Hosanna just, like, she goes to all the events, she just waits for the photographers to be done.
Yep.
So I just imagine her in her van angrily holding a bowl of potato salad.
Yep.
It's like, they're taking longer than last time.
Right, so that's very interesting.
This season was the weirdest combination of, like, moments of high tension punctuated by the most abysmal, abject boredom I have felt in a long, long time. And I have raging ADHD. Like, boredom is a thing for me. This was like connoisseur boredom. This was the kind of boredom you can't get your way out of. We had to watch this. I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah, it took a long time.
The casual viewer, I think, may struggle with this one, unless you invested in the story. Well, no.
Well, it's a regular show. It's not like a binge-worthy show or whatever. I don't watch it all at once is what I'm saying.
Like Sons of Anarchy. Watch all the way through season 3 and then you're good.
Fundy family turns Fundy light to try and be popular and manipulate the kids. There's a lot of them. They're all blonde.
It's like
it's all Kim's fault. 100%. I'm not even joking. Yes, Barry's probably been like a fundamentalist, like just regular patriarchal dad.
Yeah.
But Kim, you can see and you can hear it in the other kids. You can hear it in the way that they try to manipulate people.
Barry, well, it even seemed like the editors of the show had a hard time finding Barry problems to bring up, because I remember them talking about with him not knowing how to cook the hamburger and being like, well, are you going to come home, or how to do that. I was like, this feels weird. This feels oddly edited, and it was the only time I could see them being like, here's a bad thing Barry did. And I'm not saying Barry's perfect. I'm sure he wasn't the greatest husband, but anyone watching this is going to pick up pretty quick on
You'll
who the
see,
villain of the
it's
story
very
is.
clear that Kim wanted to turn the family against Barry, and it didn't work, and she's floundering. Because most of the kids, when she's like, well, I'm leaving your dad, they're like, okay.
When are you leaving the house?
Yeah, when are you leaving?
Why
and
are you leaving?
Several of them brought up, well, why aren't you leaving? Which I'm like, damn. As soon as them cameras are off, you know she's laying into
the
them.
hard roast.
It's going to have subtitles for what they're saying. I don't know if you're going to be able to read them. I also have, regular subtitles for this video.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I don't know how much I'm going to have to cut. I don't know how confusing it's going to be after I have to do the copyright cut.
We didn't ask for this.
I'm sorry. Get mad at TLC.
This is what they do to us. This is how they make us make content for you.
Okay, first of all, look at this dumbass photoshopped.
I'm not going to say I'm super professional at, Photoshop and thumbnails and stuff. I could have done this better. I mean that with every fiber of my being.
Ass. This, J-Rod could make a better photoshopped image here.
This better have been made by an unpaid intern.
Yeah, if I find out you paid somebody for this,
if someone was paid
fire
for this.
You know what it is?
What?
I'm sure that they were all individually being uncooperative with the photo shoot.
Although I will say, I think they did my trick where you just blur all of the outlines of people to make it look like it blended. The
picture of Kim and the family, I think, is real. They might have photoshopped Lydia on top of her because she's shy, but they have, the same lighting. This over here is like a beach situation.
Yeah, I don't...
they're getting sunlight over there. There's a shadow on Mariah.
Well, I would point out Mariah's...
This is obviously a picture of Micah from a photo shoot.
I don't even think Mariah's is a photo she knew was being taken. She's
you
not
guys
looking
can't
at the
see.
camera. She's not even looking at the camera. That looks like a candid shot.
Yeah, it looks like one of her Instagram photos.
And was the tree in the background part of the thing?
Yeah, I'm sure this is at the farm.
Okay, so this was just one holistic chunk with Lydia slapped on top, and then you have 1, 2, 1. What's important is that it sucks, and you're gonna have to, if you watch the show, you're gonna have to look at it a lot.
This is the season picture. Well, anyways, we kind of have them behind us on the webcam because it's got to be small.
You get the idea.
All right, let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, you can look at our phones, Bethy style.
Establishing shot.
Oh my God, this is the dancing.
Oh boy. Wow, I forgot this is how it starts. Me too, kid, me too.
Now we're opening a new dance studio in Cairo, and I've been having fun putting together different playlists.
A jazz square.
Jazz square. A Punnett square.
If only they knew about Punnett squares.
Yeah.
This is me trying to learn the choreography to New Shapes from Charlie and Christine and the Queens.
This is us trying to learn the choreography to the Girl Defined dance.
We
Sisters
are
in Christ, wherever you are.
Sisters
Friendship
come
is
together.
forever.
No, God is forever.
That's the ponies, is what I said. This is funny because this shot totally works, in my opinion. If it's like, look, they're having a fun family activity. They're trying to set up that Kim, the woman leading this little thing, has purchased and is opening a professional dance studio. That's the setup for this. So I want you to bear in mind as you're watching this that, because they're going to do a lot of slow-mos of this dance. This thing goes on for 5 minutes. If you're watching this, remember that the woman doing this is trying to sell you her services as a dance teacher.
Well, it's now it's an Airbnb now.
Yeah. This I cannot.
But
stress
Lydia,
enough.
the jazzercise.
I would be happy. Lydia, it seems like, is doing a good job.
Yeah, Lydia's getting it.
I used to like to listen to the Beastie Boys, and Run DMC, and kind of whenever those came out. I guess I was probably 13. I haven't really listened to rap at all since then.
And that's hip hop.
Yeah, that's what you see. How my skirt is so short. That's what makes it hip.
You want to turn your feet out, and I'm going to do this backwards. And that's what makes it look like hip hop.
What song would you add to this?
Huh?
Why?
No, the Northern. I dig my dip in the sauce to dip on a Taco Tuesday.
We step smack on your booblies.
Feel free to say no.
All I know is I've been a mom and I've been a wife, and now it's time to be me. I feel like I've just scratched the surface.
Ma'am?
The use of the past tense is pretty jarring there.
You're still a mom. You need to take care of your children.
That little one's like 7.
And stop trying to hip-hop dance away from your midlife crisis.
That's not hip-hop.
That is not hip-hop.
I want to tell you another thing that makes hip hop hip hop.
Cooler than you think she is, and you probably thought she's pretty cool already. I feel bad for these kids because they are I think trying to have a semblance of a normal life and enjoy recreation and being themselves out from under the weight of crushing parentally enforced labor and responsibility like Kim and Barry did to them for years. But you still have to do your damn dishes. It's just, you have to be a grown-up. I'm sorry.
This is one of Olivia's brothers, and he moved in with the gang when he was 18.
I'm Nathan, Olivia's brother, and this is my first time outside my parents' home. Dad and Mom were very strict growing up, I guess like the Plaths. And after I finished all my school, I started thinking about, okay, so I should move out. I just turned 18. I was like, let's go experience my life.
All leather. She's like Blade.
Yeah. She is the daywalker. She chooses not to wake during the day.
You do dishes when you get back?
Ethan is mad at Mariah for not doing her chores, so instead of pranking her by using a whoopee cushion or something, I don't know how people prank, he unhooks the coils to her car so she can't drive it, and then she gets pissed off, rightfully, and Olivia has to go counselor because that's
her job now, apparently.
More unpaid labor that she has to do for this family.
Can I come in for a quick sec?
I'm not mad or anything. I just don't. Well,
It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be annoyed or whatever makes you feel.
I don't know what I feel anymore.
They're not allowed to be mad.
Yep.
You can hear it in their voices, the way they talk.
There's such a bigger variety of girls out here. Shoot, there's boys that look like girls out here. It's you never know what you're gonna get.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Have you gone on a date with a boy that looks like a girl?
Not that I know of. I don't believe I've gone on a date with a boy that looks like a girl.
Would you if the person clicked with you?
Yet to be determined if I would. You know, smoking weed is legal out here, and I've experimented with weed several times.
My mom lets me smoke weed now, so the emotional abuse doesn't count.
I told my mom, and believe it or not, she was like, oh, I don't really care. She was like, my mom used to grow it.
Wow, okay.
Oh, that makes it okay.
Yeah, because she wants you to pick her house in the divorce.
That's what this show is about.
Plathville season 4.
Look at that. Look at hot stuff over here.
You cannot look at that picture and tell me
that
is Lydia. That's Lydia.
That is a girl bossing, gaslighting, gatekeeping queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She gaslit these other 4 women into being friends with her, so you know she was good at it young.
I'm so thin. So thin.
It's very important to her.
Just sitting right here thinking about all the things I need that I never got when you were the one who was with me.
I did say in my notes that I'm totally like this when I'm being dramatic too.
Pause this.
But this shit was milked. This shit was Harvey milked,
I was just
mama.
about to say, I want you all to look me in my eyes for this when I tell you, they milk this What Did Max Do for friggin' 4 episodes.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
4 episodes for nothing.
Oh, this bar is so nice. Like it doesn't move, it doesn't slide.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
You really do know how to pick the screenshots.
It's solid.
Pussy mode.
I didn't say shit.
And, you know, we're just going to have fun.
That'll be fun.
Has anybody else seen that episode of Kitchen Nightmares? If you have, you know what I'm talking about. Rishi.
Dude, I just have in my notes that she's like evil Barbara Jean.
It's okay.
Except, put some respect on Barbara Jean's name.
Well, not much. Not a lot. You'll find out. Put a little respect on Barbara Jean's name. Put
But
no
not too
respect.
much.
No respect
Not too
on
hard.
Kim Plath's name.
Not too soft.
Go too hard on Kim Plath. Go harder than you
Please
meant
go
to.
harder on Kim. She's been tanning, too.
Yeah. She's like Brock. She bought a tanning bed and put mats. Kim, look like you're doing something for camera.
Yep. Both of them could get it.
It is giving...
Oh, here's the fucked up picture. Guys, I'm going to make this big for you. You need to understand. Hold on. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about these kids except I literally
This
don't
photo is
think
like
they're real.
warped. I think it's been... Hold on. God.
Like something happened
Okay.
in the processing of this photo.
Okay, sorry, my mouse.
No, you're good. Take your time.
Okay. I don't know what happened with this photo, but what the fuck is this?
Like, I want you all to know, we audibly gasped and then paused the television.
What? Like, did this photo get wet? Did it get scanned wrong?
What I want to know is how it got through an entire team of editors.
Yes.
Is this the only picture?
I'm not crazy. Like, look at Ethan's face here. Like, he's obviously warped.
Is that
We're not
Ethan?
calling the children ugly. I'm
No.
saying like their photos. This photo is distorted.
I think they're they were sweet, lovely children. They did not look like that.
Well,
That is
also
not
look
what
at
they
their
look
one
like.
individual brownie on a plate.
Yeah.
I will always be here for them. But they're growing and moving on with their lives, and I'm kind of coming to a place where I'm realizing, okay, what does life look like with 3 children at home? You know, what do I want life to look like with no children at home? You know, what do I want my life to look like, period?
You kicked 2 of your children out.
Still very busy.
3 children. There's more than 3 children. Did you notice that? Isaac. Lydia.
I think she discounts them the second they turn 18, and Isaac and Lydia.
I really
think are
do.
both 18.
What the fuck? Barry is so nice. Like, she's being a horrible bitch to him, and he's like, Kim is just so strong-willed. I really admire that about her. She cheats on him. You know, I really like that she's able to make connections with people.
Barry is admittedly very sweet, which only makes it even more hilarious sad, I guess you'd call it.
That's our channel, Hilarious.
Hilarasad. That it is very obvious that even as early as episode 1 of this season, one of these people still thinks this marriage can work. And one of them doesn't even have a foot out the door. She threw the bags in the car. She is down the road. She stopped at McDonald's for a coffee.
It's just really sad because...
Kim Plath, I have done nothing, and for that I deserve perfection.
But at the same time, I feel dead inside.
Me.
I love how she wanted to read her journal. This is so Kim core.
Even as I write this, I want to cry, but the tears won't come.
Pulling out your own journal to read on TV to try and convince everyone unsuccessfully that your divorce is all your husband's fault.
Let me just say that I love our job. And she's like, guys, I'm going to read my journal to you because I read all of my children's journals.
Kim,
so...
we're actually going on lunch. Is she still... We didn't even turn the camera on. She's just... I'm going to flip it on. Maybe we'll get something good.
Does she She doesn't even bujo, okay?
No, this is just paper. She bought that yesterday and wrote this. It is on the front page. And there's nothing else. You can't even look at the pages and tell none of those pages have been turned. Like, that book smells like plastic. 3rd place in the local teen poetry contest.
My soulmate. I wanted to marry.
If I married the fucking guy that I thought was my soulmate at 19, I'd be married to a fucking guy who lives in Las Vegas with white dreads and several TBIs and a Robitussin addiction. You'll do okay, Mariah. Leave his ass.
Did you just try to call me?
Well, I was wondering about, like, dinner tonight.
That audio.
You had any ideas or
See,
what
this...
to do?
Well, like, not for the 10th time and, like...
Okay, first of all, Barry, you're going to need to learn how to cook spaghetti because that is the patented divorced dad meal, so buckle up.
20 days. So,
I think we had spaghetti like once a week ago. You want Mexican? Just have Amber cook the meat and set out all the Mexican stuff.
Mom's changed. She lets me wear pants now?
When is the last time you think 2 adult hands made a meal in the Plath household?
It would probably be around when, like, Hosanna turned 5.
Yeah, so like 2000, 2003, that's my guess. That's the last time a fully adult person made a meal in that house.
There's not been a non-minor made meal.
And here's a wild thought, Barry. I said this, like, I'm like, I don't think Barry's at fault or whatever. Barry, if you're watching this, YouTube, type in how to brown hamburger. Okay, bud? It's not hard. You need to know this. I'm sorry you didn't learn it till now, but you got to figure it out.
To help Amber prepare this, or
are you gonna help Amber prepare this?
I'm having an early dinner, like
Just
a salad or something.
Just a reasonable salad. Just a small salad.
Mm-hmm.
So small. So small.
You know, and I feel like this time he heard me. I don't think he really understands why, but I feel like Barry is trying.
I was just gonna say too.
This is probably so
I
loud.
had told the girls some things to get done. Their schoolwork, check on bunnies. And
Trail
just,
mix, if y'all are wondering.
Anyway, if you can remind them.
well, yeah, that's kind of the new role I'm moving into here.
We get it. You love parentification.
Really shouldn't have been a new role, Barry. Should have been a role you occupied a long time ago.
Hasn't picked up another full-time job since he quit his last one when we moved down here, and he gets bored a lot.
Hey, honey, think fast.
He's got time to buy NFTs and follow.
I bought this
incels on Instagram.
I bought this JPEG of a Chevy Impala, and it's gonna increase in value.
Do you ever wonder if she was editing or like emailing us on a computer?
I love to believe that she was, and that
that's canon.
I want to believe I'm in the lore of it was my email that Ethan rudely interrupted by hitting her in the face with a pillow. Don't aim for the face either.
3 guesses. I would give you 3 guesses of where Kim Plath is about to deliver her next monologue. You would not think of the place that we're about to show you. Anyway, if you guessed a dirty ass pond.
In an old. So, pause this. I know it's going to immediately buffer, but I have a theory about this season, which is that Kim Plath is trying to, through this TV show, create the Kim she wishes she was, who is a successful dance studio owner with no children, who kayaks and journals. She's none of those things, but that doesn't matter to her. She thinks she can convince us that she is those things. I don't think she has canoed within 2 years of this shoot.
This is the first day she canoed.
This is her first time in a canoe.
Lately, I've been realizing that I'm feeling...
The Shyamalan twist of this season is that you'd become a mother to your children.
That's way funnier than what I was going to say.
Uh-oh. When you edit this, Jen, put them Kim Kardashian pictures up on screen where she's like 1895.
I'm realizing that the husband is
me when I
kayaked
away from my children
and care for the wife.
I feel worthless because I didn't do anything for my children. Maybe I should rectify that somehow. I know. I'll divorce my husband and buy a dance studio.
Mariah.
Yeah, we're here to jerk each other off. Get to it, buddy.
This conversation doesn't have to happen.
Really?
I f***ed up, man. Pretty bad.
Me when I have to make a decision about what to eat for dinner.
This buddy of mine that's a good bit older than you
Like,
and I.
what happened? Were you partying with old people?
We used to work together, and we were kind of celebrating his retirement at his place. And he
As you do.
invited his lady friend over.
Okay, this, not to be this guy, this sounds a lot like how a lot of stories that when you worked at the porn shop began.
Yep.
This is how every fucking story.
Yeah.
Took things a little too far. I was just flirting with her.
What does that have to...
Me too, Micah. Me
Bro,
too.
you did... That's not how you be a wingman.
Yeah. I was trying to get the old man laid. So me, a beefy, attractive young man, hit on her to help lay the groundwork.
That's literally what it seems like.
Okay, to try and kiss me.
Were you assaulted?
Which She
It
did.
sounds like it. I feel bad
I just
want to
say, I really do think, like, I'm not joking. I'm not joking, bitch. Like, this, like, it really does sound like this was not consensual.
Yeah.
And, of course, Mariah's like, you cheated on me! Like, it sounds like an old lady grabbed and kissed him like Madonna did to Drake.
Except if she would go, you cheated on me, that would be better. Instead, what she's done is listly stared off into the ocean going, I don't want to talk about it.
And like an idiot, I said, I'm proud of myself for not letting it go too far.
Just because he said that doesn't mean that what this lady did was okay.
Yes, agreed.
Now it's not only betrayal on Mariah's part, but also on the friendship that we had.
Oh my
Most
God.
of us didn't think he was capable of that.
Wow, okay. My note says, unless Micah is going to fight Max, why is this conversation happening?
I
told myself I would tell my family, but at the same time, when it came down to it, I was like, no, sorry, I can't.
You don't have to tell us any more than what you're comfortable with.
I do like the white purple hair.
And we love you, and you're so
like the
beautiful
aesthetic.
and talented that you're just going to do well with whatever you do.
It's
Love
hard to watch your
bombing!
daughter go.
Do you remember when you kicked your own daughter out because she was too rebellious? And now you're gonna act like she's the golden child because for some reason you don't like Lydia now.
Going
She
on
just
her
wants...
life, but I didn't.
Lydia wants to take things into her own hands and try and talk to Max because she learned that from her mom. She learned to never let something go and to fucking keep pushing at it until, you know.
Well, and I also think that Lydia really liked Max, and he was probably one of the few, like, close to her age friends she had left. And she's like, I don't want to cut the guy loose if I don't have to. And since Mariah's playing fast and loose and vague with the whole story, can I still hang out with him? Which I'm sorry, Mariah.
She didn't give a straight answer either.
People will be confused when you play hide and go seek with the fucking information.
I was texting him just a few days ago.
That's weird.
He
Sorry,
didn't
what?
tell me anything. I wanted to, just see him. In a way, Max has been like part of the family. He was almost as like an older brother.
You can see the wheels turning in Mariah's head.
Someone going through her messy period, Lydia?
I'm heartbroken in a way.
Lydia, this is... Okay, whatever.
I feel like little Miss Lydia is going through her messy phase right now.
Not approve of me meeting up. And
Draw the
talking
cat's
about
eye
something
sharp enough to kill a man.
Or just like if I asked him to join my friends, and just hang out with a friend.
And also, Lydia's the only religious person in this family, apparently, still.
Yeah.
Because later in the season, she's talking to her mom, and she's like, well, I just give it up to the Father. And Kim's like, yeah, religion is great, but, I know better.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's giving Gwen Shamblin.
Oh my God, such Gwen Shamblin core.
Really, I'm like leaving it in God's hands or whatever.
God's
this would
hands or
probably
whatever, I don't
be
care.
him trying to make me stronger and giving me this problem to solve on my own.
3rd episode. 10 more to go.
Almost done.
I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
And you never will.
No, you can't now. It's gone.
It's gone. Hey, I did a similar thing. I was embarrassed by how little views the podcast got, so I put it on Patreon.
We're headed to LA. Da, 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 da.
I think we all sing.
I can spend a week or two up there and do that several times and use the shops and connections that I made in Cairo to finish them, and the cost will be astronomically lower.
The price couldn't possibly be any lower than not buying a car every time you have a problem.
I will also, in addition to replacing his feelings with full-size automobiles, he also doesn't really ever express a plan for these cars. Like,
Just
are you
work on 'em.
Are you gonna drive any of them? Are you gonna sell any of them? No, he just works on them, and it's like, oh, I can go up there to Cairo and get it done. What does get it done mean?
Yeah.
When you say get her done, you mean it less than Larry. Like, come on, dude. Like, sell them or drive them, but
He hides this
up there,
car
he's
he
not
bought
honest with-
from Olivia the whole season, and everyone's in on it, and it's very shitty.
He also buys that motorcycle.
And then it immediately dies
in the morning and doesn't tell her until it breaks down, and he has to have her go take him to pick it up. Yes, he sucked there. He was really terrible.
On your part, thinking that I'm advertising to other guys, and I'm not.
Yeah, wasn't he a
I just
sexist
remember being
asshole?
like, whoa. So that's like actually how you feel. Like you have said over and over that.
That's my soulmate. I will never find love again.
No.
It's just... I literally was like this at 19. That's why it's so funny.
We all were, but most of us had a little bit more of a toolkit to work with than this.
Right.
You do accept how I dress, but it's quite obvious.
Talking about a concept that Michelle Duggar was obsessed with, and it was called Siblings as Best Friends. It was a concept. And
Michelle said...
It's how to literally socially isolate your children to the point where their only friends are their siblings, and they see it as a good thing.
Siblings as best friends? You mean siblings as only friends?
Days before I leave LA, Olivia's coming out, and we're gonna release my first song, and I think that it's gonna
And
be
then
Olivia's coming out, and then we're all gonna berate and emotionally abuse her into accepting our mom, and then I'm gonna put out my song.
I like how supportive the friends are, though.
Well, that's you?
This is positive masculinity.
It's really good.
There's so many
You're
emotions
trying,
going
bud.
into this song, and it's kind of a song about.
Honestly, if you would release it on TikTok, it might do okay.
Yeah. You're not T-Swift now, but you're in Gail territory.
Who's Gail?
A, B, C, D, E, F, U.
Oh, I didn't know her name.
Yeah.
Wake up. I'm thinking everything's fine, you know? And I know there's many things we could be
keep
working
drinking that
on,
kombucha.
but, you know,
Everything's
my marriage
fine. The
seems
fridge
to
is
be
loaded with
at least
kombucha, and I've got my
8 out of
5-pound
6,
bag of
and
rice. That's Jim Baker.
Kim's like, Like, we're taking time to go out on a date. That was a concept that I couldn't put action to, but for Kim, it was an issue.
Well, yeah.
In my mind,
Take your
I
wife
want-
on dates.
I want
Yeah, Robin's daughter. Have dates.
No, see, I'm thinking he's standing here like, first of all, can we talk about looking at Barry, how Barry was a smoke show?
Kim has thrown herself into the dance studio.
We're all
It's giving
watching
her
this
a place
woman
to
pretend to be a ballerina. And we're just fine with it. Like, she is... I don't know much about ballet. If you did ballet, and I know one of you deconstructors was forced to do ballet,
a shift
tell
has
me in the
occurred,
comments, is she
and
doing good
her presence
ballet?
is absent, so I feel it.
Yeah. He really looks like he's in heaven right here. Like, bro, can you play?
It's that bloom filter they all use in the afterlife.
No, this is the filter they use on the first season of Drag Race.
I feel like this is when Kim was getting him eternally sunshined out of her mind.
Yeah.
There's no way it's gonna work.
Okay, thank you.
What did he say when you told him this?
I wasn't listening, to be honest. Make it a good lie, Kim. Come
Right,
on.
right.
He cried.
Oh my god, look at my... Okay, no, this is totally like...
Yes,
look
and...
Look at this newly furnished bathroom that you can rent on my Airbnb page.
It's like he wants me to
Let me look it up right now.
It's like he wants me to stay. Not really.
It's
Because I felt
$80
like
a night to
that's
stay
what
at
I
the
was supposed
kayak
to do.
pond.
How far is it?
From here?
Yeah.
I don't know, like 6 states away? There's no carbon monoxide alarm, though.
There's no carbon monoxide. Kim said there isn't any.
May encounter potentially dangerous animals.
That's not a nice thing.
They said, we've never seen a gator, we've seen a snake in the last year. I recommend watching the water for 5 minutes before you get in. If there was a gator or a snake, you'd see it. The only thing we've ever seen in the water is a turtle. If you do see a snake, call me and we will come and relocate it.
If I needed to move a live snake, Kim Plath is in the bottom 5 of people I would call to do that. Because not only would she not know how to do
No
it,
washer and dryer on the property.
she's going to lie about it. So she had to go back to the house to do her own laundry. Which was...
Well, it says the farmhouse is on the property.
Oh.
So, how many damn, is this the one where the kids grew up? Is that where this other little cabin is?
Oh, fuck if I know, dude.
It's a whole cabin in the woods. Why don't Lydia just stay there?
I seem to recall
Well,
that
don't
being
worry,
moved.
honey. They provide body soap.
I guess my philosophy on marriage is look with eyes wide open beforehand, and then afterwards, eyes half shut. You're in, and you know that's what you signed up for. How do you feel about
She does not like being called on this over and over.
Okay.
Guys, can we
The
stop?
house that they're currently living in on the show is up for list.
Like, buy?
Like you can stay there. So I'm wondering if they live there, like if they don't live there anymore. You know?
Ow!
You okay?
It was a June bug.
What?
It flew in, hit me in the ankle, I kicked the desk. And it still hurts less than listening to Kim complain.
Oh my God, Kim, shut up.
It's not
You can
what
stay
I
in the
want,
apartment above the
but it's
dance
what I
studio.
need. I need to not stay in an unhappy marriage.
It's got 2 bedrooms.
That's good for us. We both got the apnea. Because Ethan said, well, we're not going to do everything together on this trip, you know. And then Olivia very rightly went, well, first she said, you're trying to get rid of me. And then 2, also, we're going to your piddly-ass hometown. You better be with me. There is nothing to do here.
Don't tell
Kayaking.
me. You just don't talk to me.
Watch him not talk.
So confused right now.
Oh my God.
That is so convenient.
Call his ass
Happening
out.
right now is real life that you're refusing to be a part of and have conversations and work through things. If you just want to be like, I'd rather be alone so I don't have to deal with this, then we'll go right back to the marriage problems we had.
You're perfectly valid. Your
Or
emotions are
emotional?
fine. You're not over emotional. You're not sensitive. He is being an asshole right now.
Yeah, she's saying that. She's there. It's just hard when you...
I'm just trying to
entrench them.
validate her because
You did nothing
a
wrong.
lot of the people in this family will just be like, you're being dramatic. You're
It's
overplaying
just-
things. And no, you're not. It's perfectly reasonable to be upset when an entire family conspires against you.
The only language the Plaths speak is gaslightion.
Gaslightion.
You can use that. I'm sure a lot of your parents speak
It's
it
a
too.
fuel in Robasha. Wow, she can do anything. She can fix cars. She can take photos. She can cook.
You'd have at least one car done.
She's nice. She's funny. She's smart. She's hot. And what are you, Ethan? What kind of generic ass delicious pizza is that?
What kind of pizza is it? Delicious. No, but I mean from where?
I feel like-
Shut up.
I feel that looks like a Casey's pizza, but I don't know that. I know they don't have Casey's in that hellscape.
Honey, those pizzas were taken out of their original packages and put into those boxes.
No.
Either that, or they were ordered from a local place that doesn't use marked boxes. They put electrical tape on a can of Bush's beans earlier in the episode. We couldn't find it, but they taped over the Bush's beans.
What if they were like George Bush's beans? Would you eat those?
Would I eat George Bush's beans?
Yeah.
Sure. Now watch this drive.
Just work.
I work at the
It's
bank.
going good. I'm enjoying it.
Good for her and her bank job. Give me that
Working at
vape.
a bank is the best job
Ever
for a
since
young
Dad
person.
first told me
Literally.
my parents'
It's
struggles,
air conditioned
my
and
dad and I
clean.
just talk more, communicate more, and also just share more.
You really like the people at the bank, don't you?
I bet she's
They're
pleasant.
great
I bet
people
she
to
gives
work with.
extra suckers
Having
to the
the
kids
right
who are
people.
polite.
You know she does.
Yeah. That is the June bug that hit me in the foot.
You're at my head. Please.
I'm trying. Hold on. Let me get him. He just... Come here.
I can't do this anymore.
Got it.
Make him leave and then shut the window. Let me show you guys what's more interesting than this fucking show. Literally anything.
If that's not in the final cut of this, I will be mad
No,
at
it's
you.
staying.
Get your friends together and drink every time someone gets gaslit.
Oh my God.
That's what
You'll be almost as drunk as Kim when she drove home.
Yep.
I think that part of Olivia's, not wanting me to work on cars is just her wanting me to spend more time and pay more attention to her.
You know, I actually really like your cars and working on them.
Really?
I just never liked that they tied us down to Cairo and that they were like an escape for you, and I felt like our marriage suffered for it, and so I think I'll feel so much better once they're put back together and not in Cairo anymore. We
That's
have
the
that
secret,
tie.
Olivia.
Yeah.
They will never be done.
I like how he waited after she did an entire day of auto work to tell her.
Yeah,
about
that's
this.
like when I got fired
It's
after
something to
working a
show me.
full shift at
But he's
KFC.
not being straight up about.
I'm taking a picture to send to Jordan because that's how fucking boring this is.
What?
Where, and I cannot stress this enough, do you keep getting the money for these?
He got one bonus from the first season, and he's been fucking blowing it on these dumbass cars.
I took the money that I made from all the little stuff that I sold, like lawnmowers and tools and stuff, and I bought this.
How much is a lawnmower worth? Because we got
It
like
runs
3
it.
broken ones in our shed.
Not that much.
Got like a...
Is it rude that I'm talking over this?
No.
Guess I didn't go over well.
Yep. You lied to your wife and spent several $1,000s on a car that
I
ties
just
you
think
to your
the
mom.
irony of it is at a time when you knew that you didn't want to prioritize me because you didn't want to deal with the relationship, and you escaped working on cars, and then we separated to work on that. And during that time, you went and bought yet another car and then hid it from me. I think is just, it was really hurtful.
Hard to understand where she's coming from. Sometimes I just don't get her.
Oh, yeah?
I don't think she gets me either.
Yeah, we know, Ethan.
I mean, if coming up here to work on my cars or whatever is a setback in our marriage, then our marriage isn't much of a marriage.
Well, you're the one who fucking said it, buddy. This tree is an awesome tree. It's wood. My notes for this scene were, what in the daddy-daughter date is this?
Climb all the way out onto that wood and then hop down to that tree.
You doing your squirrel impersonation? Right?
I don't hate this. This seems wholesome.
Kombucha!
How have you been?
You know, I'm just hearing this.
I had 10 children. I am not going to pay
This
for
thought
therapy.
come and say, you know, Barry, just be really patient.
Yep.
Lydia's old enough to relate and understand.
No, she's not.
I don't want to be like a burden to her.
She's a teenager.
You know, and I don't want to unload.
Again, Barry is several letter grades above Kim.
You know, I'll have my moments where I just have to, like, stop, take big breaths, and just... Sometimes I just let the hurt, like, run its course, and then I...
Feel your feelings.
I move on.
Yeah. Just being the oldest child at home, without my mom there much, it hurts.
How much different is it
And
really?
for Cassie and Mercy,
Would you miss it?
I know they feel
Would you
it.
miss
They
it?
don't
Miss her?
talk about it too much, but I know they do because they're. Whenever I come home, it's like their mom walks in the door. They just-
Exhibit A,
they
Your
just come and
Honor.
Give me a big hug.
If you heard a small sound through your headphones, that was my heart breaking.
Yeah. You can tell because they made her wear the dress for continuity, but her hair's changed.
Yeah, you're right.
We're less strict now about what they wear,
That
what
makes it
music they
okay.
listen to, what they eat. A lot
Beastie
of the
Boys.
decisions that we made parenting in the past was really my desire to correct my childhood.
Just because you know where your trauma comes from, like Kim, does not give you an excuse to continue the cycle of abuse. You are responsible for your own feelings, your own actions. And it seems like she is allergic to accountability because anytime anybody asks her a direct question, she deflects and makes excuses. She has yet to apologize or really change her behavior in a meaningful way, and the kids keep coming back and they keep putting up with it. She didn't have to apologize, so I guess why would she change her behavior?
That's why I haven't really been home. You know, Dad's in the bedroom. Basically, anytime there's an opening at one of the rental properties, that's where I stay. If they're all booked, I stay on the couch. You know, it's a little bit rough living
Sleep
out
on the
of
couch because she makes
suitcases.
me.
We'll have to figure out a long-term solution.
I remember Mom saying to us children, you don't have to worry about divorce, that's not an option. And I remember just feeling so secure. And then, I mean, I could understand things could change.
What?
So when you bought the studio, did you buy it so that you could be independent a little more? So that, like, you didn't have to rely on Dad's income?
No, I bought it because I really have always wanted a dance studio.
Cool.
I've always wanted to dance. When we first moved to Cairo, I called all the local studios, begged them to take an adult in their ballet classes, and they wouldn't do it. They said, no, they're just
What
for
the
children.
fuck does this
We
have to
don't
do with
adult
anything?
ballet. So, I mean, I've been looking at property for a studio for years. When we bought the dance studio, we knew
Like,
that
even
there-
the way she talks to her own child was like, Yeah, I've been looking into this for years.
Well,
It's like, oh my god, don't talk to her like that.
Well, but Amber's also calling her out. It's like, oh, did you buy the dance studio because you don't make any money, and Dad makes all the money?
I wouldn't.
I think Amber is sharp as a tack, and I think she is roasting everybody in rage.
It's also really well. It's just sad because it's really awkward to have like raw conversations with your family and then to do it on TV, and you also be a still developing child.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the other kids didn't have anything to say because I mean that environment is so volatile, and then once the cameras are off, like Kim has not built a environment where these kids feel safe to share their actual opinions because she knows, or the kids know, that they can be iced out at any time. They can be cut from the fucking favorite lineup.
Yep.
Like, if they don't fall in line. So they're like, I'd rather just be quiet. And I'm just really worried for Amber because she's getting to be a teenager now, and that's when Kim is at her most manipulative.
Not to mention, you ever look at a kid and tell they burned through all their dopamine already?
I don't know if I should really say this.
Get her.
There's a question I've sort of always wanted to ask ever since I heard that you wanted Dad to move out, like to a different house. I know Dad's willing to move because he'll do it for you, but it just seems like if you're the one that wants to break it up and you're the one
That's
that
my queen!
Doesn't want to stay, then shouldn't you be the one to move?
Brave little girl.
Also
Now
Barry,
Barry needs to
because he's
leave.
the reason I want to leave. So how can one blame the other? It takes
We're not
two,
blaming, we're taking accountability because we're mature
and
adults.
We're both at fault.
And she's totally not saying like she wants you to move out.
Yeah.
How fucking sad that small child had to run interference and try and placate Kim because she knows, all of these kids know, that she plays these manipulative fucking games with each other. And she knew, I've literally done that. I've literally run interference with an abusive person to try and appease because, like, you just know them, and this is just freaking me the fuck out.
And so I was trying to find this medium ground of like holding myself back here and then trying to pull you forward to here, so we were meeting in the middle and it was working. And I don't want to do that anymore. There's a lot of open doors in front of me and I want to walk through them all.
Queen
So
shit.
rather than trying to pull you through them and have you be miserable, and rather than try to hold myself back and me be unhappy, I think I want to give you the freedom to be who you want to be. And I'm just going to take the same freedom for myself.
That's reasonable. Get good, Ethan.
You think it's okay that I'm divorcing your dad, don't you, Mariah? That's the whole fucking series with Kim.
That's what it was.
And then I also know he met up with Lydia very recently.
Let me just talk shit.
That
So now we're gonna meet up.
No, not gonna lie, you're literally in your mom's good graces right now, so you're throwing Lydia under the bus.
Yeah.
Because it gives you mom points that are in exchange for a blackmail to be exchanged for later, right?
Yay, we're complaining about my other children. This is bonding. This is what bonding feels like. Wow.
She collects Christmas cards. We have to send one. We have to send one this year.
I'm not sending him a Christmas card.
I'm sending Olivia a Christmas card.
You said Ethan.
I did not.
I don't want to be on that
I
fridge.
did not. Rewind the tape.
Wow.
She collects Christmas cards. We have to send one.
Do they still think that way?
No, they've changed a lot. My mom in particular.
My mom is so cool.
She drinks and divorced my dad.
But that sucks.
She seems so much older and so mature. I'm like,
This lady is low-key calling her old, and it's pissing me off. Because I'm a fake plant from the producer.
That is a producer, is what I was gonna say.
Okay.
And that's the first time I've been out in a bar and like a lady walked up with her number on a piece of paper and handed it to me. I mean, it's not like I'm doing anything wrong.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
not cheating, but
Thank God this is a made-up scenario, otherwise you
Ma'am,
would
I
be
am
cheating.
flattered beyond all belief, but I am married, and I'm going to hand this back to you. Thank you so much. You see how fucking easy that was, Ethan? You see how not difficult it is?
I need to get you a button-up like that American one.
Fuck yeah.
like, I think that's a bad idea, but I hate conflict, so I just go
Yeah, I
around it
wonder
and
who
avoid
would
it.
have taught you that.
And it never works out, but I do it over and over and over.
Well, I don't know about you, but I fucking hate this show, and I don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, we gotta. We're gonna have to take a break. So.
No, seriously. I'm done watching this show for tonight.
Yeah, we're good.
No more.
The next morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Howdy.
Let this be a lesson to you guys to take breaks. Like, we couldn't
myself and told people how.
We couldn't even handle
This was a good idea.
finishing the show last night.
I'm on this side. The camera over there. It was a good idea. Take breaks. Drink your water. Self-care.
Whenever I told you that Max and I weren't together, I didn't tell you everything that happened, so you didn't know. But you did
It's
ask,
still your
like,
fault, but you didn't
before
know.
anything else, if you and him could still be, like, if you could still be friends with him.
You told her she could.
I guess I don't quite understand, like, why you did that. That
Lydia
made me
is so
feel
uncomfortable.
that you didn't as much care a whole lot if someone hurt me.
Well, you played fast and loose with what happened, so no one knew, did they?
Micah, happy 21st birthday.
Whoever's coming to the strip club, let's go.
Also, let me point this out that Ethan doesn't know how to use an ATM, which is really funny because his mom was using his credit card, so she knows how to use it.
He doesn't know how to use an ATM, hun. He knows how to be an ATM.
An ATM.
I just want to say I made a huge mistake and I'm so sorry.
See, that's
At least she
pause it.
That's nice. She apologized.
That's okay, yes, but that's also her giving the Plath approved apology of.
She was really crying.
Exactly. It's groveling. She had because Mariah wants her to grovel because this family
You're
loves
right.
a
There is a
groveler.
very specific, accepted way that you're really apologizing to them.
Oh.
That's wild.
I was just reminded of scriptures on forgiveness, and I had to meet up with Max and tell him that, like,
I had to.
Yes, what he did was I'm not gonna go the rest of my life.
It's like, well,
with
I was
that huge
reminded of
grudge in me.
forgiveness, so that's why I went and saw him.
When I found out
Brilliant.
that he cheated on her,
It's up to you. It's your call. It's your choice. Not
I
really.
was just reminded of scriptures on forgiveness, and I had to meet up with Max and
Had
tell
to.
him that, like, yes, what he did was wrong. but
How did you
I'm not
know?
gonna go the rest of my life with that huge grudge in me. When I found out that he cheated on her, I was shocked.
I reached out to Max and was like, hey, I
As
would
you
like
do.
to talk for a little bit.
I was shocked, and then we hung out.
I just told him, you hurt my sister, which hurts me, but you're forgiven.
What?
That was the most Kim Core
forgive
response
someone
I've ever heard.
is
You
not
learned well
saying
from
that
Mama, didn't you?
They have your trust again, or that what they did was okay.
But Max didn't do anything to you. He hurt me.
Yeah, you're taking everything onto yourself.
Like, I understand that you don't want to be mad at him because that is a yucky feeling. Trust me, I know. But like, you have nothing to really forgive him for.
Looking back, I obviously made several mistakes. Like, even though we didn't talk much,
Okay, I want to give her some credit.
I mean, yeah, I think she's taking initiative to try and, again, the Kim Core element of this, for the record, is...
The interacting with Max.
Well, one, interacting with Max, and then two, very cleverly trying to spin it around, like, it was a forgiveness trip. Which, like, I guess Mariah Mariah didn't take that answer, but I had expected when we first watched this that would totally be fine.
Yeah.
I understand why Lydia went that route. And so, but yeah, you're right. Lydia's not stupid. She's probably realized that her mother is very pathetic for desperately trying to make sure that we were all at fault, okay, guys?
Yeah.
But, while also acknowledging that I don't want to admit that I did anything wrong, so I'm gonna just spin it like I was forgiving him. Bless her heart, Lydia's a crier in a family that values hidden information. Yeah, you're going
Somebody
full...
called me Triple Chins on TikTok. They said, "Oh, Triple Chins is making fun of our religion."
Yes, we are.
So I said, "I'm more famous than you'll ever be."
Me and all of my chins are making fun of you.
Yeah.
Individually.
I have to.
That looks amazing, Olivia.
Yeah, I don't know why you're freaking out about it. It's pretty good.
I always say that I wish I had siblings, or like I wonder what that's like. After watching a single minute of any Quiverful show, I'm like, I'm good.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday. So I live in LA, and LA is definitely going to be a perfect spot to party, and I can party there all the time. But I just thought,
Listen, man, when I'm in LA, I'm always partying and touching lots of girls' butts and definitely having a job.
Out in LA, my friends hit this dance called the Nene, and when we do, it gets pretty crazy.
And that's hip hop.
That's hip hop. He learned it from his mom. You too can learn the nay-nay from Kim Plath at her dance studio.
No,
probably.
no. What's an even older, funnier?
The stanky leg.
She's out here doing the fucking Soulja Boy.
Now look, the important thing for all of my children to understand is that this divorce is one of equal fault between me and me and their father.
Did we split it too?
We split the one margarita.
We split one
That's all we
margarita.
knew how to do.
I didn't
That's
even
cute.
have a sip of alcohol on my 21st birthday.
Neither did I.
Wah, wah, wah.
But that's because alcohol
you,
tastes like
Olivia.
ass. This looks like an album cover for a decent, like, glam pop album, I will say.
Yeah.
I'm glad she has nice friends who seem to care about her.
And would you want, like, roommates or something?
Probably. Especially good roommates, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like good friends, you know.
Yes. Oh
People
my gosh,
here,
I feel
maybe?
like a cult. We all go to the same church, do all the same things. We actually live together.
How do you feel about that clip? I thought it was kind of mean that she made a joke about a cult when she asked to live with her, but also I think that might have been the only socially graceful way to change the subject. Because what is she supposed to say? Like,
Yeah.
oh, your mom's kind of insane and I don't want to
Yeah.
spend time with her. Like, you know? So what do you think?
I mean, I too have been in a social circle where someone is desperately hinting that they want to move in with you.
Oh God, yeah.
And or they're looking for a new place, or they need new roommates because they can't stay where they're at because of drama or whatever.
And you're like, I don't want it.
And I've had to also play them off, and it's not always been graceful. So, was it bitchy? Maybe. Do I get it? Absolutely. That's what I would say.
You know what? Bless this woman, and I hope you never see this.
Why don't your parents get all the way divorced, Lydia, and then we'll talk about moving in with you.
I forgot I would be taking all the shots with everyone.
No, I haven't. Hey, Leanna. Guys, thank you. Guys, we have to do another shot now that Leanna's here.
That was a cool shot.
Yeah, that was a good transition.
They ate that one thing. That one little
You ate
thing.
that one, yeah.
Oh no, I have to take another.
Congratulations, you've seen the part of the show that was worth
I'm not
watching.
a professional cake maker. I had to say that up front.
I wonder if she was thinking about this
Make a wish.
when I told her about my
Give me a
cake.
speech for
Oh.
first.
No, for real, Micah, I am honestly so proud of you for living in LA. If I were in LA, I would be so like, I'd be like, what am I doing out here? I'd feel.
I'm gonna pop in here. What would you like to say a toast or say something nice about me for my 21st birthday? I am so proud of you for living in LA. If I lived in LA, I would be doing this, and that. Mariah! Read the room!
She can't.
You're not even in a room. Read
Her
the
mom did
outdoor
not teach
setting
her
with
to do
only
that.
your brother.
What do you think about going to the strip club tonight for my birthday?
So they're going to the strip club. It looks like he's smoking a blunt, but I know he's not.
The world's tiniest blunt.
I don't know.
Throw it away, Ethan. I smoke cigars. Throw it away. That's done.
Okay, so we know Olivia, good tipper, loves a lap dance.
Excellent.
Loves loves the gals. They were getting ones out of the ATM. What is this? The 70s?
No, singles are still the.
Excuse me? Excuse me. I put my hole in your face. Get that fucking dollar bill out of my sight.
Well, because you don't do one. You do many dollar bills, hence the raining of making it rain.
That is so degrading. Give me a 20 or a 50. Dancers, comment below.
I see what you're saying.
Tell me what you think.
I agree they deserve to get paid more. I'm just saying the aesthetics.
A dollar. Get the fuck out of here.
Here's my $100. I'm gonna make it rain. Let me pick that back up.
Okay, well, like what? Even a stack of $1 bills is how many? Like 50?
Yeah.
I definitely feel like my childhood does play into that. That was definitely hardwired into me.
I mean,
like, you don't look at that stuff. Now, of course, I like to. It's fun. But it's just like, having never done that before, it's just like made me really nervous.
If I had the potential to
Do you
get
mind if we stop at the
boners,
gas station and
I would never leave the house.
Yeah, we can stop.
Going to the strip club.
Oh yeah, this is where he's still smoking his giant cigar.
Oh my god, I forgot!
In the store.
I don't know if that's a Florida thing or if Ethan was just too turned, but he lights
I've never
up
met anyone who hasn't used an
lights up a fucking cigar in the gas station.
Put your card in, put your information in, select how much you want back. I've never done that.
What?
Mom does that for me.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who hasn't used
Mom
an
gets
ATM.
me cash and then takes out the mom
Honestly, it
fee.
makes
Mom said I could smoke a cigar in the gas station.
I called her. She said yes.
2001 Nude Odyssey.
Terrible
That is
name.
That's the greatest name I've ever heard. Ever.
How does... It should rhyme with space.
Imagine they play the dun, 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 as they come out. Look, it's even got a
naked
spaceship.
ladies,
Okay, yeah, points for the spaceship.
It looks like there's a lot of pretty ladies in this world. Exactly. That's what I'm finding out.
Country overload for sure.
God, yeah, I probably couldn't handle all the lights. And...
It is very, well...
So I'm here with my brother and his wife.
If there's one thing worse than a dark strip club, it's a lit strip club. Let me tell you that.
Try to make him warm up. No.
I don't want to be making eye contact with other people there.
Ethan. Is this a spaceship?
This is awesome.
It was a lot to take in. Like, I felt really overwhelmed and like nervous and excited.
It's like a kid in a candy store. Okay, this is the body positivity that I want.
Watch and enjoy.
Y'all not.
This is literally that Smithers being danced on.
Oh.
By the.
I mean, Ethan. I don't think Ethan was pressured to do this.
I don't think Ethan did anything inappropriate.
No, he did
besides
fine.
not tipping properly.
There was a lady walking, pushing her cart, jiggle, 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 with like an inch of a crack showing. She would say, "Eyes down, eyes down,"
That's
and
their
all of
Nike.
us would have to look at the floor.
Is it hot in a strip club, or do they have air
Oh
conditioning?
no, they air condition them bitches like a mug.
That's
At
what I
least
would
in my
say.
experience.
I would hate. Well, then are they cold?
They're pretty
Are the dancers
chilly in
cold?
my experience. I mean, you're moving, you're dancing, you're.
Okay.
It's high energy. It's high octane.
I know they're doing this bird job. It's really good.
I know you like your strip club
I feel
warm.
like Ethan's sitting
You see
there
Micah
and
being sex
shaming
positive?
himself and judging himself for basically the thought of thinking these women are attractive. And I'm like, they're gorgeous. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Open wide with no expectations, because it's like, hey, I've never done this before, but I'm not
I wonder,
opposed to
do you
it.
have to be 21 to get in there, period? Because you notice Mariah's not there.
Most places are 18 for strip clubs.
Maybe she didn't want to go.
I don't even move that way. Like, I try to move my body, and I look like big air guys that are outside car dealerships.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube.
You gotta put Sweet D in
I
here.
will.
Not meant to be, it's just me. I just live life.
I like that.
I'm annoyed at how smooth that was.
Oh, he's doing
Right
a
now.
presidential 700-piece puzzle.
Look, man, when you're divorced and that horny sets in, you gotta do something.
You got to do something because devil hands are the fleshlights of whatever.
Just passing the time.
Get out of the house, Kim!
Well,
You just don't feel bad enough for things
I mean,
that I
you
did.
know that I'm not happy.
I know
Lydia
you.
gets that smile from Barry. That it just hit me. This is amazing. This is like body language like lessons 101 here.
Now, I do want to point out to everyone that Barry did respond to this, as we've seen in recent Instagrams, by going out and getting jacked.
Oh yeah, I'll
And
insert that picture
so,
here.
Kim may have made the Barry she always wanted. She just ain't gonna get him.
We don't have time anymore, guys. We have an hour until James.
I gotta take Jericho and Abe to the vet.
Our
Just
most
a-
religious named animals.
I know, just a checkup. Just a checkup. I feel like I've done a second chance. It was between when you paid for my massage therapy classes and when you paid for that dance studio.
Is she afraid to come to me?
Well, I couldn't imagine why. None of the fucking people in this family could communicate vulnerably.
No one wants to talk to anyone. None of you even like each other.
Oh yeah. So this episode's about Barry reaching out to Ethan and them like having a weird. It's like an unstable connection, and like all the kids are like, "Oh my god, finally it's happening! It's a miracle!" And then meanwhile, Olivia and the rest of the gals are down at pole dancing class.
Always curious about people's journeys.
I actually went to it for the workshop.
You seen this woman's fucking
realize how
muscles?
hard it was going to be.
Dude, pole dancers are a different breed.
No, they got the abs of steel.
No, the thing about pole dance that I've seen is it's like the beginner stuff is hard, let alone that expert nonsense where they're doing ninja tricks up
What's
there.
the one? Yeah, have you seen when like they'll have multiple dancers and they
Doing
make,
that
like, a
bicycle trick
Yeah.
and stuff? Oh my god! are going all the way up a 20-foot pole like it's
Yes!
nothing. They grease those things sometimes.
No, they don't. They're textured.
Oh, are they?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know much. I got friends who do this either. I just knew this was so far out of my realm.
I know exactly who's going to text us after watching
Well,
this.
you know.
You just have so much confidence in yourself, and then what's really cool is that translates out into the real world.
Look
I
at
think
that
also for us
waist.
is like a lot of mental stuff that like working through that. Like we both grew up in a very conservative environment where like women's bodies were shamed, and like moving sensually or wearing revealing clothing, anything like that. So I find like even as an adult, even though I don't believe any of that stuff, I still have mental blocks.
Yeah, we all do. You know, we're all shaking off the programming from our
Pause
upbringings in some way. Or
Yes, she is that eloquent and quick-witted in person. It's that fast. She can have that conversation at a moment's notice.
I wonder if pleasers have a more stable, like, heel than like
can't wear.
You know, like Walmart heel. You know, like I wonder if they are more sturdy for long-term wear. Do you know?
I don't. Back when I worked at the adult shop, we sold dancewear, and the only thing I knew was the reason people even said the pleasers were like Walmart quality. It's just the
Really?
only place you can get a 6-inch heel on short notice.
Well, I was just wondering. I'm assuming
Because
that
we were
there's-
24 hour
I'm
too.
assuming there's got to be like trade shows or something. Like before the internet, before like where did people get?
I am positive there are at least 5 pole cons. I would guarantee it right now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
That's the current state of things. I just wanted to let you know that is.
All aboard the dissociation station.
I admit this is one of the moments where I feel for Ethan because I'm Ethan, and I'm like, okay, I am the second oldest in this family. I am a grown man. I am literally out of the house, living on my own, and married, and I'm somehow the last person to find this out. The 7-year-old found out before I did.
I guess I'm tired. One, I'm tired of fighting. I'm also wanting to give
just
Ethan
so
and
tired
Barry
of fighting.
space to reconcile. And
I'm so tired of this fight I started. Yeah, probably.
I'll just
You're
go hang
insufferable,
out with a
Kim.
friend and do something fun.
She's fun to be around.
She
I
lets me
appreciate
drink
bringing
and
that up,
smoke
so we're not
cigarettes.
painting her out to be the bad person. 'Cause, I mean, I know that I talked to her the other night. She said that she's just doing what she feels like is right.
You know, the fact
I
that
bet she is.
It does
when
look
I,
like her boyfriend.
you know, kind of express how I feel about my mom, and Mike and Isaac jump in and, you know, kind of defend her. Like,
Ooh.
it's hard for me to make sense of that or add that
Well,
up in
We
my
have
mind.
info about her DUI.
But I guess I would say it's been a while since I talked to my mom. I know that Mike and Isaac have talked to her not long ago.
She's honestly a lot cooler than pretty much any of my other friends' parents, which that's not who you know her as.
When I was a teenager, I used to go to house parties. And you would be shocked and appalled and disgusted at the amount of parents and adults that were supplying alcohol to us children.
Mm-hmm.
And they justified this by doing this, you know, the thing that we think Kim's going to do. It's okay if you do it here. Oh, there's adults around. We're watching.
The mean girl's mom.
Imagine if one of those kids got alcohol poisoning or, like, got into a drunk driving accident or something. And you're
Well-
like, it's okay because us adults were here. Being a cool mom is not, like, a good thing. Like,
I called him like 16 times.
oh,
He picked up once.
Ethan's
I talked
literally
to a couple
ghosting
friends
her.
from there, and I'm pretty sure and convinced in my mind that Barry and Kim are separated. And I asked him about his parents separating, and he told me that he knew nothing about it.
Over here on Facebook, funny enough, April 25th, we have, like, the details of Kim's DUI, and it says she was found guilty. She has a fine of $963 and was given extra time to pay that. She has community service and probation for 9 months.
Sounds about right. And going back to this, though, I will say...
She was in a crash in June 2022.
That wasn't related to the DUI?
Involved in a single vehicle crash in Florida. Why were you in Florida? A police officer noted the car was traveling south along the road, made a left-hand turn, and then overturned, eventually resting on its roof in a ditch. Damn, girl!
So she rolled it!
When the officer asked the star how much she had to drink, she said two 12-ounce margaritas. She had double the legal legal alcohol limit. So then in September, they did the toxicology report, and then she turned herself in October. So there must have been a warrant, right?
Yeah, if
this happened in June, and then she didn't get like legally in trouble for it until October, how does that work?
Well, they probably had to file the paperwork, decide if they wanted to press charges. It's also a random DUI, so it goes to the bottom of the stack. Okay. And it's not like she's famous enough for them to like worry about venue changes or anything. Sometimes you wait a few months before shit hits the fan for real.
I had a battery issue, and I had to leave it at a gas station and get a ride back to my house in Tampa.
R.I.P.
One, when we said Ethan replaces his emotions with motor vehicles, we weren't kidding. And number two, it's interesting to me how Ethan always seems to have this plan that, like, he's going to drive the car up and she's going to get super giddy because now they have a new car, and it's like...
So, looks like a fitting time to talk. Definitely in past conversations we have talked, we have discussed things.
I haven't been married 24 years, so I don't have...
Oh, God, leave it.
Any experience from that.
Yeah.
But I do have experience from the one who designed marriage.
Whoop-ow! Christian guilt!
And
So
all I
good.
know is from my experiences, just one touch of the Holy Spirit heals all that.
She's really focused on spiritual love with God, which is great.
Watch her hit her mother with the
all I
Barry
know
smile twice.
From my experiences, just one touch of the Holy Spirit heals all that.
That's just her daddy talking.
She's really focused on spiritual love with God.
That's Barry!
Which is great.
And
you know,
she
but
thinks she's
human
got her
love
too,
is,
like, hey.
I would say a lot more complicated.
This bitch is telling me. This fundamentalist bitch is telling us that she knows more about love than God. If that don't show you...
And it's a tough decision for me to make, to stand up for myself and say I'm worth being loved. But I am.
Okay, yes, you're worthy of love. Whatever. Your children are so emotionally wrecked. Funhouse mirror ass parenting.
Hey, give me a fart noise.
You are so gross.
We're changing it.
When I
I
was
like that
little,
guy's shirt.
my mom never drank. It wasn't until recently that I found out she was drinking occasionally. And hell, I thought that would be really fun to have a drink with my mom. I've never done that. Never thought I would be doing that.
Mom's cool now!
Hey.
Hey. How's it going?
Figure something out.
Ooh, good to see
I
you.
like your dress. You want us to sit here?
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Clap if you're surprised.
I was gonna have a margarita, but what's that? That looks good.
This is a Clark Kent. I think it's I want to say a gin. Take a sip out of the cup.
Out of the cup.
Don't use my straw.
Margarita. Barry is pretty firmly, anti-alcohol of any kind, except for kombucha. Being his wife all of these years, I just kind of supported that and went along with everything that he said. I don't think he really knows that I, am having an occasional drink here and there.
First season, talking about how her mother was an alcoholic and that scarred her, and she also had alcohol problems in college, therefore choosing not to have any alcohol in the house. So I just want to point that out, that she's trying to blame that on Barry when he was probably, having her best interest at heart.
That's very apocryphal, I feel like.
I'm not doing a shot. Oh,
Cheers to our first drink together. 3 months later.
Yeah.
It's on me. It's on me.
I think I used apocryphal right.
We'll cheers. You take a sip, and I'll take the rest.
Okay, we can do that.
Cheers. Just drink however much you can.
Good one?
He's gonna finish it for
That
me.
is really good.
So nice, you're gonna have it twice.
How long have you been drinking again? Not meaning that in like a bad way. 'Cause sometimes people do that kind of sounds.
This is the worst first date I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've started seeing myself as individual distinct from him.
When I first heard about my mom and dad separating, that was a huge shock.
I've lived a life the last 20-some years of abstaining from almost everything. And now I kind of feel like, you know what? I know God. God knows me. I'm saved.
I'm basically God, so...
Life's short. It's okay to have some fun.
This is very important. Kim was assaulted as a child, which is horrific and...
Doesn't deserve that.
Nobody deserves that.
No one does, and it's awful.
Don't wish that on anybody. That's the worst possible thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling Micah that to kind of, make an excuse for her overbearing behavior.
And that's the thing
I think it's very inappropriate.
That's the thing you see a lot with Kim, is that she comes up with these stories, and I'm not saying that they don't have, weight and merit all on their own, but she brings them up only at times where she's being called out for shitty behavior. That's the only time she mentions these bad things that have happened to her. Mm-hmm. And at some point, it's like, okay, you're weaponizing your trauma. Your trauma is valid. You're not allowed to hit people over the head with it until they submit to your will.
We were taught that it was supposed to be just one man and one woman, basically for the rest of your life, and anything besides that was horribly wrong. I've become very accepting of really any lifestyle, especially just seeing it so much in the industry I work in.
Okay, woke king, woke pronouns king.
I need more than one LGBT roommate and a drinking sesh with his mom before I say woke king. No, make this last a year. Olivia did. Olivia's where you're at now, and she's been there for 5 years.
There's just like a million things I'm feeling. It's like one of those situations where you try to hold it together, but inside you're like super overwhelmed and confused and freaking out.
Drama and conflicts.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all right now, if you watch this on your own, this is the moment in the show, and I'm telling you through the last 4 episodes, I swear to you, this moment in time is where both Micah and Mariah learned the word drama and what it means, because they're about to say it about 1 billion times, and the only way they say it is to minimize Olivia's trauma. Don't forget that. Drama means Olivia's trauma, and we making it smaller.
Like sometimes I'll take a breath and I'll be like, oh dang, I haven't breathed like that in a long time.
Me on edibles.
I was going to say, I too have smoked weed, Mariah.
Girls in bikinis on roller skates in outer space.
You excited?
Pause it. Nothing happens. He sets up some terrible art pieces. I'm sorry, whoever did the art show. It doesn't look good.
And they're great art! How dare you? We're making art.
You're right. I'm sorry. Your art was good. I didn't like how it was laid out. Probably because you had your unpaid friends do that.
Oh, yeah, and Micah was the bartender, and he was just pouring, orange juice into vodka.
No, he's like,
Listen, man, I've been there.
He's like, I got 2 fruit juice. You're not a bartender. You're just the guy by the bar. There's a difference.
It's not a bar.
I mean...
I'm trying to say it's sadder than you were saying.
Oh.
I was talking to your dad last week.
You were talking to my dad? Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I had told him that I just was glad he and Ethan talked, and now that we can talk to your parents separately and it's not them together.
Oh yeah, because that's a reasonable boundary, and everybody's having a problem with it.
You don't owe them shit, Olivia. Y'all in TV land watching this right now, if you got one of them parents, one of them assholes, you don't owe them shit. You don't owe them anything.
And they can whine about it on TikTok about it. My child's so entitled. They don't want to spend time with me. Think about that for 1 fucking second.
The great Stone Cold Steve Austin once said, I don't owe you people an explanation. I don't owe you people a damn thing.
Would you go if Kim was there?
No.
Love how fast you had that answer pulled up.
Is he, if you were older, if you were Barry's age, would you think he's hot?
Yeah.
Do you think he's hot now?
I actually find Barry to be quite attractive.
Yeah. Definitely makes you question things.
I thought he was cute at this point. He didn't even have to get muscular. He's
once took as
it works.
You could probably find out if you asked your mother.
No, I'm asking you.
We're gonna do that.
We're in the room together. We are talking now.
Find out.
What's in Ethan's shirt? Did a little kid give him that?
I think, yeah.
She's got her side of the story. I've got my side of the story.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of nothing little kids give me. I had a beaded necklace a kid gave me when I was a social worker hanging on my mirror for like 5 years. I get it, man. You're singing Girls in Bikinis in your head, aren't you? I could tell based on the rhythm you were bouncing
I can stay
in.
out of the picture so that it's peaceful here. Maybe a little lonely, you know, knowing that everybody's at the farm or at the house and.
Oh no!
You know,
it's the
wondering what they're up
consequences of
to.
my own actions.
But
I mean, I have my own set of feelings about Ethan talking to his mom, but it's not my decision. And it's not my place to really say anything.
I would drag my balls across
Because, you know, if I just put
hot
myself in her
coals
shoes, I mean, she's
for
gonna
Olivia.
look at this and go,
He literally said, your mom's feeling ostracized and rejected.
you know, if I just
how'd
put
she make
myself
you
in her
feel?
shoes,
She
I mean,
should
she's
be.
gonna
I'm
look at this and
ostracizing
go,
and rejecting
you know,
her.
feel like, you know, totally ostracized and rejected and...
We don't have time for the next one. I'll wait until you get back.
Wow.
I'm not going to the vet with him.
Oh.
I'm going to smoke weed.
Well, you smoke
No,
weed and...
I'm going to edit.
Okay. Okay.
You want me to go with you?
No, I was being playful.
I couldn't tell.
I know, that's why I'm trying to explain.
Okay, well, I'm leaving your shirtless body in this. We'll be back soon.
2 hours later.
What's up, y'all?
I hate this.
Round 3. I feel like there's going to be a beautiful abject humor to this of us, like, struggling so hard to...
I know, it's its own narrative.
like, it accidentally became the focal point of the episode.
I like wearing your headphones because it's like when SpongeBob and Patrick had yellow and pink underwear.
Yeah. Those headphones were white when I bought them.
Except for these chairs don't count because your chair hurts my ass.
Yeah, it's firm.
Like a fucking spike. Oh my god, this is an episode that really fucking pisses me off. As opposed to the rest of them.
The other ones made me feel great about life and parenthood and myself.
Skip intro? Yes. You can look wherever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Who's still watching this?
I'm gonna gaze listlessly out the window.
Go down that long drive. I'd rather watch Pate drive.
She told me 100 times not to talk over the show before we started recording, and now I just don't care. It's not about, I listen to you, hon. I've actively decided they're not worth it. That's how I feel.
There are bad memories, but then I got
Well, of course,
I don't know. In this moment, it's not really what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, because the traumatized little boy inside of you wants to go home.
Yeah, they're both wearing flowers. I think the little girls picked flowers and gave it to them.
It's also really sad because, like, Olivia really loves the little girls, and it's probably because they remind her of her own siblings.
Yeah. I've had so much time away. I'm not trying to make fun of Mariah too hard here because I was a teenager once. You've been gone for like a year. And even in that year, a familial cataclysm has now come up, Bill.
I need to stand up on a chair and put more Jesus pictures on the wall.
Oh yeah, that's what this room needs. It really does. It's kind
This
of
room
the
is
theme.
very holy. When I'm in here, I love that all these pictures of Jesus are watching me play Wicked.
A lot of the Plath kids feel really nostalgic when they're remembering the really good times of their childhood.
Olivia,
and, like the memories that they made.
that top,
So
that hair,
at this
outfit.
This really
love it.
is like a horror movie, though. Like, she's the outsider, and so she's the only one whose memories last on the property.
I have a lot of
It's very Pet Cemetery, Children of the Corn, Poltergeist, 80s Stephen King.
Things out and
Wow.
What did they run off the damn pasture for?
I don't know, but they sure don't know you're here.
I'm gonna climb to the top of the tree.
Yes.
Go hide my bags. You guys play it cool.
Okay.
Hide those.
Mercy, how do we play it cool?
What is it?
Okay.
Brush the horses.
That's cute.
What is it with this family and pranks?
Oh, this is what the farm does. It's the only fun they can have.
They devolve into pranking each other so quickly.
The farm at any given time, and the only way to get us. It's a free activity you can do with your family.
Well, I wanted to see it without the buffer. We call that a glomp in my day.
He had a Howard Dean scream there.
I'm very.
I'm gonna see my brother.
All the way out. But at the same
I'm gonna
time,
forget my
it's
drunk
definitely
mom.
Are we fucked up? You know what's fucked up? It's drunk driving.
Yeah,
That is not forgivable.
Even at her most even when she tries to be sympathetic.
Also, she could have died. She could have fucking died that night.
Died or injured
She
someone.
flipped her
anything.
car. She could have killed somebody else.
And I'm sorry, like, you got to be hard on her because she gaslights her way out of everything if you are.
She probably tried to gaslight the cop.
You've got to be kind of direct.
Like, no, this car, you drive it upside down. That's how that works.
No, here's what Kim would do. She would say, well, here's the thing, officer. What you need to understand is I didn't mean to roll the car over. It was an accident. That's why it's called a car accident, you know? Like, I would think you would know that. And so I apologize for how the rolled vehicle has made you feel. But I need you to know that it was not my intention to roll the car into the ditch. The kids seem nice, but they definitely were not prepared for the struggles life was going to bring them.
Okay, so the plot of this episode is that originally the kids were going to have a remembrance. I keep saying remembrance because that's a Jill Rodriguez word. Yeah. The word is memorial. They were having a memorial. There were supposed to be 2 separate events for their little brother who died. They were having a memorial for him on his birthday. There were supposed to be 2 separate events, one with the parents and one with the kids. With the kids, one being where Olivia was invited, and supposedly they wanted her there. They didn't act like that, though. Kim starts getting mad because she's like, well, I should be allowed to go. So then the story changes because she influenced Mariah, I guess, with that special Kim thing that she does. And so then Mariah was like, well, everyone's invited, so if you can't get over it, then I guess that's your problem.
So what I would say is, this is, number one, I want to say there's no reason this family shouldn't have a memorial for their brother. This is a perfectly reasonable event and family thing to do. And I don't want to take that away from them or be cold-hearted in any capacity. That being said, in the order of things Kim Plath loves, above all else, above her children, her family, her dance studio, her canoe, Kim Plath loves a technicality.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's how her brain works. She loves positions where she has power because of a technicality. Because technically she should be allowed to do this. Because technically she didn't mean to do that. She loves being technically correct. The best kind of correct. That is Kim Plath's worldview. And so that's how she planned to use this. Technically, she's right. She can go to this memorial service, and it is for her deceased child. She should be allowed to be there. Technically, that's a reasonable stance to take if you don't consider any of the other variables at play. And that's, again, it's a game of hidden information. It's based on technicalities. She doesn't technically have to talk about the fact that she told Olivia, who was a struggling teenager that really looked up to her, that she was infested by a demon. She doesn't have to mention that technically. She can just technically say that Olivia should be over it by now. Kim is doing most of the work in making this awkward and terrible for everyone. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I'm not going to do what she wants and be passive-aggressively bullied into her worldview.
I'm absolutely going to the cemetery tomorrow with everyone. Regardless of whether Ethan and Olivia are there. We lost a child. We should just be able to go. And if you want to be there, and if not, then don't. Why is it called? Because Kim is the one that keeps
bulldozing boundaries and making it about herself. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, this is for the living. This memorial is for the family because... you know.
I also think that...
So I think it's really just inappropriate that they're all like, you're making it about yourself, Olivia. No, actually, she's probably trying to prevent an issue by staying out of it. And she would have gone if you hadn't have changed the plans to appease Kim.
I think
disgusting.
This is also where you saw what I would call the Plath family megazord fully come together.
Oh my God.
Because you see them playing... Olivia is put in a series of no-win situations. Mm-hmm. Because, and it's all, again, based on Kim's favorite thing on earth, technicalities. Mm-hmm. Technically, she doesn't have to go, says Micah and Mariah. They're indicating that she should have just let the mom have it. Mm-hmm. Which she would have, except... Ethan wanted her there, and technically, his wife should be able to support him, and then technically, his mom should be there, and they caught her in this web of bad situations where the only option, they funneled Olivia into the one thing that she could do to gain this family's approval was completely ignore the trauma that Kim put her through,
the trauma response and trigger that she will have by going.
And I don't have to play the technicality game, so I can say comfortably, I also know damn well she would have been expected to play nice and talk to Kim and forgive Kim, and I mean a Plath forgive, which is a different thing. We have discussed, a Plath family forgiveness is not forgiveness. It is, you've done enough to where I don't want to deal with this anymore.
It's groveling and sweeping actual issues under the rug.
Performative groveling.
Performance, yes.
Performative groveling and ignorance. We saw it earlier with, if you play it, with the Lydia apology. That's what's expected in this family. But not from Kim. Kim has set it up that she is immune to that. So Olivia was given one option that didn't work for her. It had no reason to work for her, and she shouldn't have had to be there anyway. I do firmly believe that this was Ethan's attempt to bully her into reconciling with his family. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to pull any punches on that.
Because if they do it the way they wanted, the way the Plaths are saying, with no drama and just making it about their brother, then Kim wouldn't have made a big deal and wouldn't have made weird comments like, I'm glad you're here, Ethan. Isn't it good that we can get over things and like hug and having a whole, like you said, a whole section about forgiveness? Because Kim's not going to show up and just keep her head down and say her piece. No, Kim's going to be like, see guys, isn't it great that we're all here?
Yep.
Isn't this all about me? And Olivia's like, no, I'm not doing that. And it's so disgusting because her one boundary, which is so reasonable, is I am not going to hang out with Kim.
Yep.
I'm not going to spend time with her.
She doesn't even prevent Ethan.
And it's like, and then Mariah loves giving them fake-ass ultimatums where she's like, well, you don't really have to go, and if you don't feel like you don't have to go, but why aren't you going? Why don't you forgive my mom yet? Yeah. It's not a real choice. It's not a real question. You want everything to be happy, but that's not the reality. The truth is your family is undergoing a lot right now, and you cannot pretend and force them to like each other and to like Olivia, who has only been victimized in this. Not only, all of them have been victimized, but it's like she has been doing her best to stay out of everybody's way, and you guys keep dragging her back. They know that Olivia is polite and kind and is not going to start drama. Drama. And she's not going to call out Kim at a funeral.
She's going to stand as far away as she can.
She knows that if I go, I have to do their shit and play by their rules. So why would I go?
Yep.
And they know it too. That's why they forced it at this thing, because the Plavs, Kim, knows that this is a highly volatile situation. It's extremely emotional. All the kids are tied up into it. It involves family problems.
I'm also going to
highlight... They know that she has to behave. It's really fucked up.
Even beyond that, because, and I don't know what you're going to play, so just a bit of a spoiler here. Olivia ends up basically attending by herself in a car way off to the side, which, in my opinion, was totally fine. It wasn't the most graceful solution, but it worked. And more importantly, why couldn't Ethan, because here's my thing too, Ethan, be a grown man and set this up. Make sure there is a half-hour gap where your wife and your mother are not in the same space, and warn Olivia when your mother is coming. That is the least you can do as a caring husband.
And it's also like was so poorly I mean, Lydia had to attend on her lunch break.
Yeah, it was so... Well, and that's the other thing I was going to say. I also wonder if Olivia wasn't pushed into it because of contractual obligation.
Yeah, that might have been.
I don't know, and we never talked to TLC. Yeah. I don't know how they operate.
We didn't ask those kinds of questions.
Oh, obviously. I didn't want to talk to her about that. No, we didn't talk about that nonsense. But I'm saying
we
TLC...
hadn't seen the season when we met Olivia.
I don't know how much control TLC exerts in setting these things up. I don't know if they're able to be like, no, Olivia, it says here you have to be there. You know, they have to accept you, but you also have to be there. Meanwhile, bless her heart, Olivia's over here having a fucking panic attack.
One day.
I should stop vaping. Both now and forever.
Hey, every minute you vape is 1 minute you get to meet God sooner.
Well, and that... Rembrandt used a style called chiaroscuro, which is a painting style that emphasizes dark shadows.
Oh.
And it was Rembrandt's signature style. And Rembrandt is a kind of toothpaste.
Hey guys, this is no offense against you handsome brothers, but Joshua would have just been the handsomest of all of you.
Okay, I'm going home.
That's a baby?
Ma'am? I get that we all grieve in our own ways, but they filmed it and put it on TV. The Plath family is built on lowered expectations and hidden information.
Bro, can we get some more servers up in this bitch?
Call Khaled.
Willing to even be.
Okay, the reason why I'm so hard on Kim is because.
Do you have any idea how much of that how much of what you're saying right now is going to be covered up by trail mix noises?
It's because Kim represents every shitty, self-obsessed, manipulative mother.
She does all of it.
And we're yelling at her for all of you guys.
She is the black belt of this sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is remarkable. Olivia gets there at 1, Kim gets there at 1:30. Why couldn't that happen? Why could that not happen? And again, I'm asking Ethan because, in my opinion, it would be his responsibility.
Get used to being on camera. Assumed that everyone was going to be there. Nice work. Yeah. I mean, of course. I'm talking to you. Stay home or something. No. All right, then I guess I'll see you there. Okay. Guilt trip.
Yeah, I'll be there at 1:30. No, I know Olivia will be gone before then. I know we're still working on repairing that relationship. I know. I've learned a lot. I'm going to give her space. I'm going to be respectful. I understand. I appreciate you setting this up, Ethan. You see how fucking easy that was?
Grave and to do it with all the rest of my family members. I'm not going to the grave to talk to my mom.
But you end up doing that, and you're uncomfortable. Well, we already know the whole season has been a lesson in how willing he is to lie to Olivia. Well, with Dad. So is it into you snuck a car up on her. That was a test run to see if you could sneak her mom up on her. Yeah. Does Olivia know that? I haven't talked to her. At least Mariah tells her shit. And that's where you failed.
I think Ethan here was like doing a power play, and he was like, I'm going to get Olivia once and for all over this thing with my mom so we can move on. I think that's exactly what he was doing. I don't know if he knew that. He might have just been like, oh, we need to mourn for my brother, but he needed to consider his wife far more than he did. He didn't do what he was supposed to do as a husband, which is make sure this was an appropriate, comfortable event for his wife as much as it could have been.
I'm sorry, that's his responsibility.
I'm a lot closer to both my parents too, and that's just made it difficult, like, navigating all of it. I don't know, I'm just kind of walking on eggshells.
You have to do that to your mom. You're misplacing that to be about Olivia.
Make sure that today is remembering Joshua and not any drama.
Yeah, we're all going to see Joshua. Everybody's going for the same reason, so there's no need to, like, split people up or tell them they can't come. So nobody's telling you, nobody can. And if she doesn't like it,
literally, and Kim and everybody spun it to, you're saying my mom can't come. You're saying my mom can't come. No, that's not what anybody said.
Because there's also friggin' 10 of you, so it's very easy to lose track of opinions, because everybody was, as far as I can tell, everybody was telling Olivia she didn't have to come, except Ethan, who was, by the way, her husband, was telling her that it meant a lot to him, and she did have to come, which she would have totally been fine with if her wishes had been respected, which they weren't.
doesn't want to come, she can stay here, watch the campfire, we'll pick her up when we're done. I don't know. You tried. I feel like Olivia should understand that this is my sibling, and it's my mom, my dad's child, and this is why we came up here, to go see him on his birthday at the grave, pay your respects. He knows. I was assuming Olivia would come, even if my mom is there. Let's go find where she is, I guess. You don't have to have a perfect relationship. You don't have to fix all the problems. Just for everyone else's sake, be able to tolerate her.
I think Ethan is falling into the classic trap that a lot of abused children fall into, which is, I put up with it, why can't you? The real answer to that should be, you shouldn't have to have put up with it, and neither should Olivia. Her faking it to make you feel better is not going to erase what Kim did to you. It may help you pretend. It may help you, but Olivia's not interested in that. She's interested in wellness. She wants to rectify these problems and find actual accountability and growth. This family is not interested in that. This family wants performance. Demean, use childlike language, minimize.
You look pretty.
It's playbook.
Where'd you find your flowers? Out in Nichols' old garden. Flower picking. Whoever wants to go to Joshua's grave, like, everybody's invited, and we're just like setting aside everything for the sake of Joshua. And whoever wants to come can come. Whoever doesn't want to doesn't have to come. If
She's also being vague.
100% understandable, and you don't have to come.
What you're seeing on screen was not Mariah's responsibility. As much as I don't like how Mariah handled it, it wasn't her job in the first place.
At least she's doing the damn thing. I'll give her credit.
Mariah is the only person in this family who tried to put action in place.
Yeah.
Like, she's the only person who bothered to communicate to Olivia, which I also suspect had something to do with sexism. And see, Olivia's smart. She knows what that means.
There for him and not upset that, like, I don't know, like, everybody has issues.
She didn't just leave it at mom's coming and you're gonna have to deal with that. She also went into she's now chastising and trying to give advice to Olivia. She should have just said, well, mom's coming. You know, I know how you feel about that. You don't have to come. She started going, everybody has their problems and we need to just get over them. And you don't have to like mom. You didn't need to say any of that.
I think it's that all of these kids so desperately want to pretend that Kim's worldview is the real one. They all want to believe
it's really
this.
scary to lose that.
Yes, and and it feels good for that to come back together. Olivia's not letting them live that lie. We'll be perfectly honest. She's not letting Kim live that lie. Family is getting increasingly irritated with her because she will not conform and she will not fall in line. But that isn't her fault. All she's asking for is real accountability, growth, and change. And she's doing, honestly, the big tragic irony in all of this is that Olivia is doing this just as much for the kids that are attacking her as she's doing it for herself. Olivia, if she wanted to...
How else are they going to see proper boundaries modeled? Because honestly, that's what this is. This is like the show about boundaries. Because that's what they tell you. When you first start enforcing boundaries in your life, it feels scary. You feel mean. You feel like, oh, why am I doing this to somebody?
They
need it too. They need structure too, and they need to see this shit.
Boundary violations also are not always big, grandiose, defiant gestures.
Yep.
They are a very careful whittling down of the line and moving it inch by inch
100%.
until you didn't even realize it's been moved 10 feet.
Yep.
And that's how it goes. And that's what they're trying to do. And
this demonstrates all of the systems that we're talking about are in play on this day.
This is, I know it's a funny thing, but it really is like the way I would look at it. This episode shows the Plath family megazord. This is when all of them are working together as a singular unit. It's terrifying.
Everybody hurts somebody at some point, and it's never invalid, but I feel like right now it's best for all of us.
I'm pretty sure she took Bethy's course on biblical counseling because it sounds like she's making some shit up.
Olivia, I know that we're being silly here, and we're like, oh, you're queen, we love you, and all these things, but like I really and genuinely think you're one of the strongest, smartest people I have ever met, and I wish that I could stand up to people the way that you do, because it is very inspiring, and I know you feel like the world's against you, and the Plaths are being Plathy to you, and we all see your strength and we admire it, and there's so many people that look up to you in how they're having to deal with their family. And as shitty as it is, it's really, you're very strong and a very big inspiration.
Yes.
Did that make you cry?
A little bit. I mean, she's bared her soul and bared really hard parts of her life for everyone to see. And I'll tell you right now, Olivia, if you somehow see this, you've made the world a better place.
There was definitely an awkward dynamic there, but I still came. We don't agree, but this was my brother, your son, we're going to pay our respects. If only Kim had just paid her respects. If only that's what had happened. Happy to see everybody? Everybody's happy to see everybody, right? Was this necessary?
I'm glad you came, Ethan.
And she singles it right out. And Kim knows what's awkward, and she's gonna take control right away.
Looking at Ethan and how he's kind of avoiding eye contact with me, I'm just feeling like he's probably not going to talk to me today, which is fine.
To me, the first step is...
Was this event supposed to be about? I was told by several Plaths that this event was about respecting one person in particular. And yet, I don't think that person was Ethan, and yet I can already tell you spent most of your time today constructing a narrative about how you were going to get back in Ethan's good graces.
It was extremely awkward just like being there and not talking to her, but I don't know, it's hard to be all like nothing's wrong when everything that's going on is going on. Maybe one day, this will be with Hosanna and Olivia.
I missed that the first time.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. That just revealed everything. That's the missing piece of this. The fact that he brought up Hosanna, I'm hoping that there's no drama there and he's just like, she's busy.
Yeah.
And maybe next year she can come. Or is she on the outs? Did Hosanna get kicked out? I can't imagine because she's done everything. Like, she's like perfect little fundy. You know what I bet Kim loves to wear? Jeggings.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of braced for impact, because I don't know if he's going to yell at me, but pleasantly, that was not the case.
He's not going to be the one that
makes me
yells.
feel hopeful for the future.
Because it was about you.
I get why he's having this emotional reaction. His brother did die in a tragic circumstance. He was trying to mourn, I think, I think Ethan was trying to use that as a situation to process, which Ethan doesn't seem like he's gotten a lot of chances to process his emotions over the course of his life. I get it. He's using a technicality because he's ignoring the very important piece of it, that his wife was lied to. Mm-hmm. She was lied to. Well, she got comfortable with the plan, and then they changed the plan. And that change never needed to occur. Yep. No one in this entire show has explained to me why Kim and Olivia had to be in the same spot at the same time. Because here's the thing, Ethan. Olivia could have been at that gravesite with you. She did not. What you wanted was her to be there with you and Kim. And no one has explained to me why that had to be the case. Yeah. But even if it did have to be the case, and someone gave a good explanation as to why, it does not change the fact that Olivia was sold a bill of goods, which was baited and switched for something that she did not want, and she was not ready to prepare, and she was already in a tough emotional state. Yes, that wasn't her blood family you were mourning, but she knows that child is important to the family, to her husband, and she's very emotionally sensitive to that. That's reasonable. She did the best she could with what she had, which was what she was given, which was nothing. And it's, again, he can be mad. I understand. Mourning is a complex process, and he's dealing with it how he wants to, but that does not change the fact that his sister lied to his wife, and he expected her to just go along with it. And I don't agree with that.
I am so done. I'm so over
I'm
it.
so done with the drama I started.
Hello, everybody. I bring you this break in groundbreaking chipmunk entertainment to tell you that I had to remove several clips from the video, not only because they were all copyright claimed, but blocked worldwide. And if you can hear my voice, I have had a horrible week. I have been sick as fuck the whole time. And I've been battling these copyright claims. So if you don't know, since we started recording this Monday at 5 p.m., and we had a full day of activity, errands and shit. I had to go to therapy, like just all kinds of stuff. And it took 5-6 hours to record commentary on the entire season, plus about 8 hours of editing. And I got sick, I don't know, I guess Monday afternoon, because I haven't been able to like breathe really all week. And then it took forever for the video to upload, and then it kept, like, it would get stuck at uploading, and then it would give me copyright claims, and not just claims, but blocks. And the thing about YouTube's copyright system is that they never tell you all of the copyrighted moments at once. So you upload your video, and you have to wait. For me, it took 8 hours. It took 8 hours for each, because I split the video into 3 parts so that I could upload it faster and have the copyright tests done faster. And it took 8 hours for a 1 hour video to upload. And then I went to bed, and then I woke up with 1 million copyright claims, and then I fixed the copyright claims, and then I re-upload, and then I have to wait 8 hours for it to upload before it'll give me the copyright claims, and it will tell me a different one each time instead of just telling me every single time. So this morning, Sunday, May 14th, I said fuck it, and I just redid the whole third hour, or the whole last hour, and went through and chipmunked all of the clips. Well, it turns out that wasn't enough. Even if this audio is sped up and chopped up, they're still blocking it. So this is, I kid you not, let me check. Since like Thursday night, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my 5th time uploading the last bit of this video to try and get the copyright claims through. And it found some. It didn't even like the chipmunk. So instead of like just adding, like a video of puppies over it or something, I'm just going to tell you what happened. And I'm extremely annoyed, and I am extremely pissed off at YouTube's copyright system because none of this is infringement. All of this is transformative as fuck. So there's no reason that this should be happening. And it has ruined the experience for my viewers. It has interrupted my artistic vision, and it fucks with the integrity of what I'm trying to do here, which is show you an unedited, maybe humorous take on an abusive family and trying to educate everyone about that. But I can't even do that because of fucking YouTube's copyright claim system that doesn't even work well enough to tell me when something needs to be copyright claimed. So, what happened in this scene that we had to cut out was Ethan and Olivia went into town with the little girls, and they had a fight because Olivia was being reasonable and just trying to talk to Ethan about the situation, and he stormed off and said, well, you're being rude because you didn't go to my little brother's grave. And there was a lot more interesting comments from Olivia. There was a whole talking head about her explaining her feelings and this whole situation, and it was very interesting and very lovely. And James and I, of course, made good commentary about it. So you'll never get to see that because of YouTube. Once again, I don't understand why they have to block it. I will gladly give TLC the $100 that I was going to make from this fucking episode. They can keep that, but they didn't have to block it. So blame TLC for this entire episode being chipmunked, which takes away the seriousness of all the shit that they're saying. I'm thinking back to when Lydia was talking about having to be the parent to her siblings. That's all funny and sped up and chipmunked. And that really fucking pisses me off because there is no reason that I'd have to do that. So anyway, sorry for the rant. If you've made it this far, if you've made it 2 hours into this video and you're annoyed, guess how fucking annoyed I am. Because right now that I'm recording this, it is 1:43 p.m. on a Sunday. I have yet to release the video for the week. And I am so fucking pissed off I can't even see straight. So, I will meet you again in 20 minutes for the next part that got copyright claimed. And you know what? If I upload this again, and it gives me even more copyright claims, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think YouTube will stop until I just don't release this video. So there you have it. The scene that you missed was Ethan being a jerk to Olivia. Then the bullying was technically successful because, look, they made her feel like shit.
It worked.
I hope that Ethan can kind of just understand my mom a little bit.
She's literally looking at her nails like that. You have to do something to make yourself happy. I understand that, but looking back, in your own words, have you thought about how we were raised and what you would do differently?
I mean, things are different now. We still don't have soda in the house, other than occasional ginger ale after a birthday party or something.
I'm sure the soda's what he was talking about. I think if we're being honest with each other, sugar and soda never was the issue. But the issues that I've always had with you and with Dad have been schooling, dating, and the right and the wrong way to go about that.
Yeah.
I feel like in many ways you were extremely relaxed as far as the amount of effort you put into schooling kids. I felt that way literally since I was 13. I felt behind in life, like I couldn't compete with people that were...
She's looking to interrupt him, have you noticed?
My age group as far as... She's already got what she has to say.
Yeah, and I mean, my heart and my intention for all of the children has always been to find what they're passionate about and help them in that. Ethan was passionate about cars, and any of the older children can tell you he was not wanting to sit down in front of a computer. He hated sitting in front of computers. So I feel like I set him up.
What do we say to that?
Oh, well, he wasn't a child that liked being in front of computers. Well, that's probably technically correct. He probably technically struggled sitting down at a computer and wanted to work with his hands. Okay? The answer to that is not 9 to 12 hours of unrestricted auto repair through his entire daily childhood schedule.
Yeah.
You are the parent. You are supposed to go, okay, my kid doesn't like doing the computer, but he has to learn these sets of skills. Yeah. So we'll learn these skills in this way, and we can do car things. He likes the
adaptations
car.
And different I mean, it sounds like he has ADHD. Yep. There's lots of things you can do to help children, especially if you're homeschooled. That's what pisses me off.
You don't get to have this conversation once or twice like families with 1 or 2 kids. You, Kim, have signed up to do this conversation 10 times. You need to sit down with your child and work with them and explain, these are the things we have to get done. Here's some of the fun stuff we can do. How do I help you achieve these other things? And I know I make it sound easy. It's not easy. It's parenthood. But Ethan deserved all the effort you had, and you gave none of it.
Especially because he was, higher up in the list. You'd think he would have got more attention. He's like being very serious, like, okay, I was a kid, it was not my responsibility. And she's like, yeah, I know.
Things right raising us, but when it came down to schooling, I don't know. I just felt like he really, really fell short.
He probably doesn't have a GED, and that's why it's so hard for him to get a job. As much as we talk shit, he might not be able to, you know. Yeah, I should have done, you know, better somehow with you older children, with the schooling thing. And the dating thing, I mean, I don't know.
Well, like what I'm talking about is I'm speaking from my experience where, you know, you and Dad had pretty much told us that you don't start dating someone if you're not going to marry them. You know, you start a relationship and then you get married.
Yeah.
Dating and sex before marriage, that was a sin, that was wrong, and that pretty much made you impure or you're going to hell or whatever. And maybe it wasn't just my parents, maybe it was the churches that they were involved in. I mean,
A number of factors, but nonetheless,
It's
that's
both,
the
Ethan.
message.
It's both, and you're right.
I want
She
you to-
fucked you up with purity culture, and now she's going back on it and getting divorced for no reason. It's not even for one of the approved divorce things in their
No.
church. So he's very, like, she is a huge hypocrite, and that is very, yeah, that would piss me off too.
Plant your stakes, Olivia. You deserve peace.
I think those arm things are cool.
Yeah, I do think so.
Aww.
This is so nice!
Okay, so they go to a Rastafari village, and of course they talk about weed.
It's like basil.
Was it like a basil?
Yeah, it's like a basil.
They use the ganja as like a medicine.
You know, the ganja. Is that what you do too? That's solely the only reason I use ganja.
Me too, buddy. Micah confronts Olivia, and he's like, what do you think about one love, peace and love? And she's like, I know what you're doing, and it's not very clever, and...
As First Man is talking, I want to respect his belief, and I want to hear what he has to say. And another part of me is thinking I've heard all of this before in the churches that I've gone to growing up. Because you're a genius, and you're where, beautiful. You know, love and forgiveness were preached over and over again, but that often meant that there was no accountability, because you just forgive.
Barry and Kim talk about getting divorced, and Lydia talks about living with Barry, and I'm like, oh my god, she's really trying to break some hearts.
These days.
I'm looking for Lydia's anti-hero arc.
Yep.
A mother not just in their lives,
Cassiopeia!
but like, there for them.
Like mentally and emotionally, and just there for them. When it is time for me to move out, they'll be okay, and they'll have someone they can cling to. Yeah.
It's hard because as a mom,
I have a dance class at 3. Can we wrap this up, Lydia?
It's so heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And so sad especially the courage it took for Lydia to say that to her mom, like basically saying, I'm the sister mom and I want to leave for my own mental health. I need to know that you're going to actually raise my siblings, is basically what she said in the nicest way possible, because obviously you can't say that in any sort of negative or critiquing way to Kim. And she literally just goes, yeah, I'm just not happy in my marriage. Like, what if Jana had gotten to have that conversation with Michelle, and Michelle just goes, yeah, and then walks away?
you want so much to do what's right for everybody else and put yourself aside. And I feel like I've done that for so long.
At what point have you done anything for anyone else ever?
I've never seen this in real life, like an actual plant.
I've only
seen You haven't been living in Florida long enough, honey, if you haven't seen a weed plant.
I probably need to answer that first for myself of why it affects me so much, but I think it's because I feel like I'm trying to support from an empty bucket.
But you don't have to support me, or him, or her.
It's not like we need you to be like, yay, go see your mom. I guess don't make it feel
Understanding
like...
where we're at.
Yeah, don't make it feel like it's not okay for us.
She was very understanding, and she's never said
It doesn't
that.
have to be so complicated. I feel like the more complicated you make it, the harder it's going to be to understand it and resolve it.
Grudges don't.
I'm sorry, I forget to. Jen always tell me to pause this, but I forget to. But I've remembered this time because I'm going to say, yes, you all did. Yes, you all did. You all did want her to be there and participate and probably interact with your mother. There's nothing that says you would have been comfortable with her saying, I don't want to talk right now. You've given every indication. Hell, I think that's why she forced herself to even go in the car, which she shouldn't have had to do. But you all absolutely do want her to just cheer you on and be totally cool with it, and will accept nothing less, which is really strange, especially because Olivia has told you she has trauma she's working through, and you all want to be respected for your trauma, but you are not even in the slightest interested in returning that favor.
I met Kim when I was 16, and she, when I first met her, made me feel important. She kind of took me under her wing, and in many ways kind of made me her new best friend. She was calling, emailing me every day. I trusted her more than I did my own mom. And at that point in my life, I really, really needed a mom figure. because the mom I had was not nurturing, and also being one of 10 kids, it was really easy to feel overlooked and forgotten. And I just really needed to feel important to someone. And you loved her? What changed? I think what changed is when I started to realize that I was just being used. I felt like I was only of value to her if I did what she wanted me to do.
Olivia realized very early, well, I wouldn't say very early, she got attached to Kim, but she realized earlier than any of the other kids that Kim had a game going on. Kim's affection was based on the direct value of that person to her. And Olivia didn't like that. And when Olivia figured it out and tried to help Ethan separate from such a toxic influence, this woman turned on her completely and viciously. She has every reason to be traumatized. She has Who's Dad?
Hi, baby.
Hi, big boy. That's Marshy. He don't gaslight nobody. Anyway, Olivia figured things out, and she really trusted Kim, and Kim let her down, and she's holding her to fixing that, and Kim has no interest in that. And her kids have all realized that the path of least resistance is what they're going to do, and it's a very tragic circumstance. It's at least good that Olivia sees what's going on and recognizes the transactional nature of Kim's affections.
Marrying a 20-year-old man who his mom was using his credit card and buying things for herself and not paying him back. And I'm looking at him and saying, why? And him saying, well, I don't know the computer password and I don't know the password to my account, so I can't stop her. Like, those were little moments.
The family, like all of them, put out a weird statement about this when this episode aired.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really strange. It was like a calculated, like, media thing, and it's really interesting that that's what they all rallied together to dispute. Not any of the other claims.
I changed his password for him, and she's like, oh, can you send it to me? And I was like, no. That's his password now. And that was the first time she ever blew up and yelled at me and slammed the door on me when she had me come meet her in town over that. I love you so much, too. You have the devil in you. And it just kind of changed overnight.
I also want to say something here, too, real quick. This is something that the Jennonites have informed me on. My non-religious ass didn't know this, but you don't tell a devoutly religious child they got the devil in them. That is abuse all on its own. With what you've painted the devil to be, you don't talk that way.
Yeah.
That's wrong,
horrible.
and you know it's wrong.
Being wanted by someone doesn't mean they love you. They can want you because you meet their needs, not because they want to meet yours.
And that's why she's the queen, and this conversation is bullshit.
You're okay with your mom.
She's the queen, and they're the sorry people.
You're willing to move on from what you call a grudge, but everybody takes different time periods to work through everything.
Like, I love this brother. This kid's cool. I like him. I'm just going to tell you if drama and just...
She just spilled her heart to you, and you're like, it's drama. It's drama.
This is... The end of this show is literally like a horror movie.
Yep.
Where you can tell someone's infected with the virus when they say the word drama.
Yep.
I could literally hear, like, the violin rip in my head, and it's like, it got you, Ethan.
Yep.
It got you. It infects them. It spread. It started... Mariah was patient zero, and it spread from there.
Whether it's from my mom, whether it's from you, like, I do not know how I'm going to handle it, and I'm really kind of at the end of my rope as far as dealing with all that. And I told my mom the same thing.
No, you didn't. I saw that conversation. I'm tired of holding on to things that aren't necessary. I just want to, like...
It doesn't matter to me.
Get along and be happy.
I am so
still
frustrated
feel
with her.
really raw about a lot of family stuff.
Mom, lets me wear pants. What do you not understand about this? Okay, so the big drama is that the whole family's having a...
How do you feel about Olivia?
Oh my god. The whole family's having a float trip, like, fun day at the park, and Olivia and her brother were invited, and they fully go with the intention of no drama. And they even go early, which pisses off Mariah for some reason.
Like, infinitely.
She's like, they didn't tell us. They did, I'm sure. And even if they didn't, they showed up early. I'm sorry that you overslept. And then they went off not even really by themselves. They went over to, like, stick their feet in the water and chill and, like, not cause trouble. And then the rest of the family shows up. They go to the picnic tables. And Mariah is just livid. She's like, how could she just be sitting there menacingly? Like, I cannot believe this. And she starts trouble. And not even Kim starts trouble. Mariah instigates.
What's the vibe you get?
I'm very happy that Olivia's here as long as she doesn't, as long as it doesn't end up being about her, because it's about us, it's about them.
She needs to get a job at the movie theater. Because she really loves projecting.
But I already feel like, she's been separating herself this whole time. They didn't want to be around me, and I didn't know if I was really into that or not. I think I already feel torn inside. Like, part of me wants to be here and part of me doesn't. And the part of me that doesn't want to be here is going to pick up on anything in people that might feel like they don't want to be around me, because it kind of like feeds that part of me. And then I'm like, okay, so then I shouldn't be here, so then I'm not wanted.
Okay, so for this scene that you missed out on, it was one of the most important scenes of the entire season. But I guess you won't get to see it because Discovery Communications are greedy fucking assholes, and the copyright system of America keeps getting abused. So, the scene that you missed out on, Olivia and her brother decided to go talk to Mariah very maturely and say, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you guys talking to us? And Mariah lost it, told her to fuck off, said, my family's going through a divorce and this is a hard time and you're making this all about you. Don't act like you didn't know. And just being super ridiculous and blaming Olivia for everything. Well, they eventually made up, I guess, according to the show. There was no talking heads from Olivia at this point, so I don't know what her actual feelings were, besides the confrontation. And then, of course, Mariah goes back and forgives her because Mariah's God, apparently, and she gets to forgive people. And she's like, oh, Olivia was actually really cute and I forgive her. So that's pretty much a good way to sum that up. I hope I haven't wasted 2.5 hours of your life, because TLC has wasted about, let's see, how many hours are in a week? I haven't left my fucking house. I have been here dealing with this shit because it takes 8 hours for them to process a 1-hour video. Goodbye.
They're gonna ride this for a week. I'm making fun of the ending and how unsatisfying it is. Guys, we're at the pool party, so that means everybody's fine, all is forgiven. We swam together. You can't swim with someone who traumatized you. Clearly it's in the Bible.
Just seeing everybody so happy to be together, I'm really proud of my family for where everyone's at now.
Are we ready? I couldn't find any evidence of these trips on Instagram, which makes me believe that TLC had a say in it. Probably at the shop.
And where would Olivia live?
With us, come live with us, Olivia. I mean, she could go with me, but I guarantee she's not gonna want to do that. I am captive now. You have been for some time. I'm really hoping that this is the beginning of normal things like this, where we can just come together and have fun. But obviously, one of the thoughts regarding what's coming in the process of a divorce is Kim moving on and then finding someone else.
Just so you guys know, she does have a BF.
But I've got children that need me, and my focus is all there.
Yeah, he's being a good dad.
It's been so long that watching this show, I forgot what good parenting should sound like. I have children that need me, and I'm here, and they're my priority.
God, that's
2 years
easy,
ago,
isn't
I
it?
would have just seen this trip as another trip.
Here we go.
But right now, I'm learning not to take just another trip for granted.
Me when I do acid on
Really
Christmas
enjoy the
Day.
moment.
The past 2 weeks of my life has been nothing but this family's drama, and it makes me want to rip my hair out. So, you've heard kind of what we've had to say. It's the same themes over and over. I think we've pretty much concluded all the things that we can.
Many of our longtime Jennanites may remember how Jen and I struggled to get through Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas movie. And I want you all to know, this was Saving Christmas by Kirk Cameron 13 times in a row.
And then we just did it again.
And again. And again.
2 days. We've been filming this since 6 p.m. yesterday. It is now 3 p.m. right now.
Yeah. So in an effort to try and keep track of what you're supposed to learn from this, I really think that we need a visual because my brain is fried. And so I hope you all don't mind, but I think it's time for me to wheel in the whiteboard.
Yeah!
Yeah! All the kids love the whiteboard. So, for all of you who don't know the Plath system yet, we'll give a little bit of an intro. This is based on the wonderful Dennis system of companionship from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And this specifically applies to Kim. We're going to break down Kim's whole methodology for interacting with the children and the world around her. I know it says Plath, so you would think it's like all of them, but just like in the show, Kim's the only person who seems to matter, so we're just going to talk about her. So, we're going to start with the letter P. Alright, so step one. Produce a bunch of offspring. Just have a buttload of them. As many as you want, as many as you can. God loves them all, right? All right. Now, step 2, the L. Live your life while making sure to pass all of the education and basic parenting duties of your younger children onto your older children, thereby ensuring you have plenty of time for, I don't know, whatever nonsense hobby you came up with that week. And now to the A, step 3. Achieve minor fame for your large family and then immediately let that consume you and become your entire personality. T, step 4. Throw a tantrum anytime someone even alludes to the idea that some of your problems might be your own fault. And finally, step 5, the H. Have too many margaritas and try to drive home. So I hope this explains to you the follies and foibles of Kim Plath. I didn't take very long to write this.
Surprise!
There she is.
Hey!
Hey!
This is our actual job.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for putting up with us and letting us do this. This fucking rules.
This is a bad choice.
I spent 3 hours working on this.
3 hours?
I'm lying.
It's more like 8
It's okay.
hours.
The Plath said I could do it.
Anyway. I don't really know what else to tell you guys. You've been watching this shit. You know, it's fucked up.
If you're here, you're in deep on the Plaths, and God love you for it. It is a remarkable story of healing and recovery, and it's messiest and most turbulent, and it's not always pleasant, but it's an important thing that Olivia is going through. Let's be honest.
Let's talk about this for a second, okay? We now have stickers available on Bonfire of many of our most popular designs. And I know it sounds like you have that one sticker is $5.99 for shipping. That's only if you get one sticker. If you get multiple, the shipping is the same.
You can stick them on everything.
Stick them on everything. Second, join us on Patreon/membership if you want to support us. There is behind the scenes videos and different fun little things. Yeah, I'm sitting on my knee right now and it's killing me.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I love Olivia. Please be nice to her on social media. I'm begging you. Don't start shit.
And everyone
Don't harass
else.
anybody. Yeah, just be
It's
nice.
a TV show and we don't always know what's going on.
Be godly and stick around for some fun updates. Bye-bye.